the other apps, and we'll get the show going in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Got somewhat of a busy show again today. It's the era of Trump. There is no, I don't want to say no days off because we were not here yet. We were not here yesterday, but with President Trump, it is kind of a no days off atmosphere. Every day there's news coming in regards to Trump. Every single day, Trump keeps the news humping, keeps the news going on, and this show is not going to be any different than that. There's certainly been things going on today that we do need to talk about. You see what's on the monitor behind me. I see in the comments, Bedcrumb says, "I hate my opponents." We are going to talk about that. That's not up there for no reason at all. We are going to talk about that. But before we get to President Trump's I just say, for lack of a better term, utter dislike of Democrats, there's a few other stories that are coming out. I do want to ask you folks this one because I don't know if this is good news, if this is going to be bad news, but I would love to get your opinion in the comment section. And this is something that could certainly affect yours truly. So I'm concerned about this as well, but I want to get your opinion in the comments.
President Trump is expected to approve a proposed deal this week that would ensure TikTok in the U.S. is majority owned by American investors, would also keep user data in a trusted cloud in the U.S. Reporter Mark Meredith breaks down the details of the deal.
TikTok lives on. The Trump administration says the popular social media platform will remain in business as it announces a deal to transfer the app from Chinese company ByteDance to U.S. ownership.
This is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app.
For years, Washington has wrestled with how to salvage the app while keeping its successful but addictive content recommendation algorithm. Under this new deal, cloud computing firm Oracle will provide app security in the U.S., operating a form of the algorithm outside of ByteDance's control.
They're going to get a copy of the code from the Chinese for some fee. Then they're going to go in and strip out all of the spyware and guarantee to members of Congress, of which there are many China hawks, that they can monitor every packeted information leaving the server and say where it's going.
While officials say foreign influence will be removed, the platform will still connect people around the world.
TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa.
Under the agreement, existing investors and a group of new U.S. backers would together own roughly 80% of the company.
Really great people, very prominent people. And they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country. So I think they're going to do a really good job.
I just wanted you to hear that last part. Now, just real quick, just before we continue on, I want you to hear what President Trump said. I'm not the one to yell dog whistles, but I want you to listen to this.
Really great people, very prominent people. And they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country. So I think they're going to do a really good job.
If you're already...
So I think some of you folks kind of know where I'm going with this. Now, you heard her say that, his spokesperson say that, this merger will allow us to keep American data in, safe and sound in Americans' hands. So the Chinese are not going to have control of your data. It's now going to be in Americans' hands. I do want to find out, do you believe that your data is safer in the hands of Americans as opposed to the Chinese? Now, I'm assuming you're going to say yes, but I want to point out, now, you heard him say that Oracle is going to be leading the charge on this. What I'm curious about, because we know with President Trump, he's not a big fan of folks that are critical of him. We're seeing what's going on with Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and virtually a host of other folks. I mean, Trump has been on a retribution tour since he became president. Did you hear what he just said toward the end of this video about how the folks that are going to be dealing with your data?
Company.
Really great people, very prominent people. And they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country. So
who does President Trump think are patriots? People who love this country? Like I said, I don't want to go crying dog whistle, but that's exactly what that is. I mean, Trump would not see Nancy Pelosi as a patriot that loves the country. The point I'm trying to make is your data is going to be in the hands of right-wing CEOs. If you don't hear that in that speech, if you don't hear that, your data is going to be in the hands of patriots that love this country. Now, you've already heard Trump state that Democrats hate the country. So he's kind of giving you kind of an inside scoop on the politics of who's going to control your data. So understand that. Now, the reason I'm concerned about it, obviously, is because President Trump has made it clear that he's not a fan of allowing folks to freely speak in favor and or criticize him. He only wants the favorable content. So I'm not certain of this. It's speculation. I'll admit that. Some might even say I'm reaching. I'll entertain that as well. But if your data is going to be in the hands of American patriots that love this country, I'm not for certain they're going to tolerate any criticism of President Trump. That's my humble opinion. I am not for certain they're going to tolerate criticism of President Trump. That may be deemed anti-American. You heard him say they're going to be patriots that love this country. You already know how someone like President Trump, in fact, most of the right views patriots as conservatives. They don't just view you as somebody that loves the country. Like I stated, I don't think they would view Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, or any of the liberals as a patriot. So he's giving you the politics of who's going to have your data. But I do want to ask you folks, do you feel confident that TikTok will be allowed to continue as normal, where folks are allowed to speak favorably of Trump, folks are allowed to criticize Trump, and there's no interference? Do you believe that TikTok will be allowed to maintain the status quo under this group of patriots that love America? State your case in the comments. Do you see any possibility that there may be some interference? We're going to talk about that. In addition to that, I also want to have a quick conversation about something else that's in the news. And I don't understand this one, and maybe you guys can help me understand this. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel's been all over the news. This one I don't understand.
Some breaking news coming in within the past half hour or so. We're hearing that President Trump is going to take on ABC again, it appears. He just put this on Truth Social. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and, to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings, the president says on Truth Social there.
I want to ask you folks, so why is he so gung-ho about this? Why is he so gung-ho? Now, he's saying, I can't believe ABC News gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. Why do you care? Why do you care about one comedian that has an hour time slot towards the evening that you're claiming that nobody's even watching to begin with? He has low ratings. He's not funny. There's a million other things on television between, 11:30 Eastern time and I guess that would be 12:30, a little bit after half past midnight. Why is he so gung-ho about this? Now, his own post continues on by stating the White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Why the hell is the ABC News Network contacting the White House about whether Jimmy Kimmel has a job or not? Just think about what you're hearing here. By the way, on TikTok, tap the screen. I'm going to need you folks, for some reason on TikTok, the numbers are very low. Tap the screen on TikTok. Get your boy likes up. It would certainly help out the program. It's an open program, so it's not sub only. So tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok. But why is the White House being contacted by the ABC News Network to let them know Jimmy Kimmel's job is supposedly terminated. And you hear, this is all coming from Trump. Everything you heard, this whole post is coming from Trump. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why is he so focused on this one dude? Why do you give a shit? Why, if you don't find Jimmy Kimmel funny, you don't watch his program, fine. A whole lot of folks on the right does not find him funny, do not watch his program. But why is he so... Don't we talk about derangement syndrome quite often on this channel? Why is he so focused on Jimmy Kimmel? And then he continues on by saying, why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Now, let's take Jimmy Kimmel out of the picture. Trump's been criticizing the ABC News Network since he came down the golden escalator. So you don't give a damn about the network, Kimmel or not. So why is he so focused on whether this guy has a job or not? And then, of course, you see him continue on by saying that I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went out to them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. I don't, you know, as you guys are already aware, a lot of folks are crying that Trump is a threat to free speech. We'll certainly end up talking about that tonight, most likely, but I just, for some reason, do not understand why President Trump is so gung-ho on this. Now, in the comments, before we continue on with the last topic and start taking callers, I do see some of you folks are rightfully pointing out that ABC News fired Roseanne Barr a few years ago. I got a long-form video I did on that earlier today on my YouTube channel, and it's titled Jimmy Kimmel versus Donald Trump. And I do point out that Roseanne Barr got fired. Not just Roseanne Barr, folks. It's not just Roseanne Barr. Okay, Kimmel got fired for allegedly making these comments about Charlie Kirk. Roseanne Barr got fired for comparing President Obama's advisor, Valerie Jarrett, to, what did she say, a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. And a lot of folks, you know, viewed her referring to an African-American woman as an ape as a racist comment. And I'm not going to argue whether it's racist or not, but she got canceled for that. But folks are bringing up Roseanne Barr. You know what? They're not bringing up Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg of The View also got suspended a few years ago for 2 weeks because she should, can't talk today. She suggested that the Holocaust was an event that had nothing to do with race, and it was solely based on man being inhumane. She said it was between two different groups of white people. She pissed off a lot of Jewish people. There was a lot of outrage. Whoopi Goldberg got suspended for 2 weeks. You didn't hear the right have any problem with that. She crossed the line. They have a right to defend her, right to suspend her. Same thing they said with Jimmy Kimmel. He crossed the line. They have a right to suspend, if not fire him. Also, are you ready for some football? How many of you folks remember Hank Williams Jr., who used to sing the song, Are You Ready for Some Football? He, too, lost his job after comparing Barack Obama, who was president at the time back in 2011, to Adolf Hitler. And once again, the right did not like that. The right did not say if you cross the line, your employer can fire you. They're only saying that when it comes to Roseanne Barr, and they're okay, or better yet, when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel. In Jimmy Kimmel's case, yeah, if you say something bad, it's okay for them to fire you. But they were defending Roseanne Barr and Hank Williams Jr., and they didn't have a damn thing to say about Whoopi Goldberg at all. Now, all four of these individuals have something in common. You know what it is? What does Jimmy Kimmel, Whoopi Goldberg, Hank Williams Jr., and Roseanne Barr all have in common? They all got fired or suspended by the same employer. Disney owns all of those people. All of their employment was in the hands of Disney. Roseanne Barr's show, now called The Conners, was on ABC. Hank Williams Jr. was working for ESPN, a Disney network. Jimmy Kimmel on ABC, and so is The View, all on ABC. So all of those people all belonged to Disney when they got terminated. Now, what Jimmy Kimmel's situation is more unique about is the fact that, unlike the other folks, the president has weighed in on it heavily. The Trump factor is what's making Jimmy Kimmel's event different than all the rest of them. By the way, keep tapping the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000 on TikTok so we can take that first caller. But the reason why Jimmy Kimmel's event is different from Roseanne, different from Hank Williams Jr., different from Whoopi Goldberg, is a lot of folks do not see what Jimmy Kimmel did as simply stepping outside of the boundaries in his network acting. The Trump administration has voiced way too much dissent on this, and a lot of folks believe, as opposed to ABC, the Disney network punishing Jimmy Kimmel, they're actually being coerced by the Trump administration. The FCC weighed in, suggesting that, we could do it the easy way or the hard way. In addition, President Trump, as we're reading here, has weighed in heavily. Not only did he weigh in with this Truth Social tweet, but here's one thing that really makes Jimmy Kimmel's event look different than Roseanne's or anybody else's. President Trump, after Jimmy Kimmel was suspended, immediately called for NBC to also drop Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Neither one of these folks said anything about Charlie Kirk at all. Nothing about Charlie Kirk at all, and he's calling for them to be fired also. So I'm going to submit to you that Jimmy Kimmel's event is different from Roseanne Barr's and all the other events, is because people see what is happening to Jimmy Kimmel is coming from the president, not from Disney. The president has been way too involved in this. Even when Roseanne Barr suggested that President Obama's assistant looked like a monkey, Obama didn't get heavily involved in that. Obama wasn't involved in that, talking about Roseanne should be fired. Obama did not get involved in that at all. President Trump is actually threatening to sue Jimmy Kimmel, to sue the network. So a lot of folks, and this is bipartisan. This is not just something coming from the deranged Democrats. You had everyone from Joe Rogan criticizing this. Mitch McConnell came out and said something. Ted Cruz was strong against this. This is what is his name? Paul Ryan or whatever. A lot of folks on the right were adamant against what Trump was doing. They did not look at this as if Jimmy Kimmel crossed the line in regards to Charlie Kirk and he deserved what was coming to him. All of them folks saw the writing on the wall that Trump was involved in this and Trump was limiting free speech. That's what people are seeing. So when folks counter and say, well, Roseanne Barr got fired, people aren't seeing this like with Roseanne Barr. People don't see what's happening to Jimmy Kimmel being genuinely based on what he said. They believe this is simply Trump using something from Jimmy Kimmel to settle a score. So that's the difference on that. And that's in Roseanne Barr's, and Roseanne Barr did not have all kinds of, the FCC and the president weighing in on any of that. So even when Hank Williams Jr. compared Obama to Hitler, Obama didn't get involved in that. He didn't get involved in it at all. So that's the difference. So we're going to go ahead and tackle the main topic now, and then we'll definitely start taking comments. Many of you folks certainly heard.
So it's sort of I really do. I hate them. I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth? But it kicks illegal aliens off of medicine that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too. You know that? So it's sort of I really do. I hate them. I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth?
Now you see the theme of the show is going to be I hate Democrats. This is Trump at a rally in Des Moines, Iowa, going back, I believe, several weeks. But you hear him talking about how much he hates Democrats because they didn't vote for some of his policies and legislation. But he does say I hate them. That's in addition to. In addition to him talking about how much he hates Democrats or whatever the case may be, he's had more to say on it.
In front of the president of Poland, the press, we had one of the media scrums and they're screaming
about our country with that, because we have radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious and they're horrible and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women's sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders. The worst thing that happened to this country, because I've already solved inflation, costs are down. Look at energy costs. You're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. I've solved just about every problem. The worst thing that happened to our country is when we let 25 million people in, many of which, and I say 80%, should not be in our country. They emptied their prisons into our country.
So you hear him saying that the radical left are worse than the radical right. The radical right only cares about crime and making sure things are okay, but it is indeed the radical left that's causing all of the problems. So, and then of course that's after him saying he hates Democrats because Democrats don't support his policies. And of course, you probably heard him at Charlie Kirk's memorial the other day.
Truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't.
So what I want to ask you folks is, does President Trump have blind hatred for the Democratic Party? And I'm going to ask you, this is not being rhetorical. I'm not taking this lighthearted at all. I mean, I'm asking this because he gave a UN speech yesterday, and once again, he was criticizing Biden and saying things that were negative about the Democrats. Point is, you can't put a microphone in front of President Trump's face without him criticizing the Democratic Party or members of the party. So I'm going to ask you guys flat out, does President Trump have blind hatred for the Democratic Party? And if so, is there anything that can be done to soften it, to maybe move towards unity with the country, whatever the case may be? But you cannot put a microphone in front of his face without him saying awful things about the Democratic Party. That seems to be apparent now. How do we get here? How did we get to the point where the president, every single time he talks, is criticizing and expressing, actually using the word hate? This is not where you're taking him out of context. He is actually using "I hate" as a phrase. How can we get past this? So we're going to go ahead and start the program up, folks. Appreciate you guys riding through that lengthy monologue, but there is a lot going on, so we do want to cover all of this. As always, you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You like free speech, congratulations, you're in the right place. You can criticize anyone on this program, up to and including yours truly. We are MAGA friendly. We've always been MAGA friendly. We always will be MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests to call in. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak without any concern of the host trying to dictate how you should think or what you should say. So looking in the comments, it's hard to continue to love people that hate you, says Josh Bradley. Well, you say it's hard to continue to love people that... Has Trump ever expressed love for the Democrat Party? So you say it's hard to continue to love people that hate you. Can you name a time? Trump came down the escalator in 2015, so he's been a politician since 2015. Can you think of a time ever? If what you're saying is, it's hard to love a party that hates you, or hard to continue, that's your words, it's hard to continue to love a party or love people that hate you. When did he love them? I want to know that. Let me go straight to the box. I would like to know, when did he, he used to love him and now he doesn't? When did he actually love him? Going to the box, we'll start it out with Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program. Your party labeled conservatives deplorable since 2015. So in other words, never is what you're saying, Leroy, then. If you're saying that they labeled the party deplorables in 2015. So in other words, he never loved the Democrats. Jeremy, blind hatred. Do you see this?
Yeah, I definitely see some of it. Sorry, is there a lot of background noise?
Yeah, you do got background noise.
Okay, well, I'm in a place, so I might have to just drop.
Okay.
I'll see you later, Tim.
All right, that'll work. Come on back anytime, though. All right, moving on with the program, and that's what we're asking. Do you see blind hatred? I don't know what I hit there, but we'll continue on, and we'll make it happen with Mike. Good evening. MAGA got mad that we didn't praise Charlie Kirk when he died. Wait till traitor Trump leaves us. What are you trying to say there, Caraccio? What are you trying to say? Mike, good evening.
What's up, brother?
You know what I always say, just like Jesse Jackson hanging out at a Klan meeting. That's all I'm doing. What do you think, though? Do you see blind hatred coming from Trump?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always been hatred, Tim. It's not new. Listen. This isn't nothing we're seeing is new. They're just starting to say the obvious out loud, right? There's no. They don't have to dance around words and try to use different phrases to say the same thing. They're just coming right out and saying it now because they don't feel like they have anybody to stop.
But wait, hold on. Okay, so if you agree that Trump has blind hatred to the Democrats, I'm going to ask the obvious question. Where did it come from? What have the Democrats done something to trigger this?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Listen, he is who he is. He's always hated. He's always hated minorities. His dad hated minorities. It's in his blood. This isn't new. This motherfucker's never cared about black and brown. Nobody. And he's transactional, which makes it even worse.
Now, I see in the comments some folks are disagreeing with you. I got a couple people said, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?" In other words, they do believe that the Democrats have done something to trigger this hatred from Trump.
Everything that Trump has been charged with, everything has been a reaction to his action. And I'm going to say it again. Everything that the courts or the Democrats feel or have said has been a reaction to Trump's actions. They can't tell you one thing that just came out of fucking nowhere that the Democrats said, oh, all of a sudden Trump did this. That's not how it happened.
Well, Billy Buckeye in the comments is saying the fake charges against Trump. You tried to impeach him.
What fake charges?
Huh?
What fake charges?
They're saying that the 34 felonies, they believe those felonies are trumped up charges.
Again, so here's the thing. That's what they think. But here's the thing, and I get it. So what they're saying is that the courts, his lawyers, the prosecution, and the defense, and the jury, and all the evidence was bullshit. Every last part of the criminal justice system was bullshit.
Well, let me put on my MAGA hat and somewhat let me defend Trump to some degree. There is a host of folks, even some on the left like Cuomo and Geraldo Rivera, stating that the way they impose those charges against Trump normally would be just one charge. They gave this man 34 felonies. They literally tried to divide that shit and throw the book at him. It's like the police are pulling you over. Instead of giving you a speeding ticket, now they're going to tread on your tires, tents, brake light. I mean, they literally threw the book at the guy. That's what a lot of folks are saying, even on the left.
And all I'm saying is if he had a broken tail light and he was speeding and he had something hanging from his rearview mirror and he didn't have his seatbelt on, all I'm saying, Tim, is are those charges? See, this is the crazy part about this shit. They're trying to convince people that the system all of a sudden doesn't work for him.
Well, wait, hold on. There's an argument to be made. Many have stated that other folks have done some of the same things that he did in New York, and other businessmen did not get charged with this. You also can bring up the fact that Letitia James made it part of her campaign that if you voted for her, she would actually go after Trump. So, she literally campaigned on going after this guy. Does any of that trigger what we're talking about?
I don't think so. And here's why I say that. If you want to be president of the United States, heavy is the head that wears the crown. There's a lot of shit that comes with that. Just like when Obama got elected, and they said, we're not going to pass any legislation that he puts forward, no matter what. We're going to make him a one-term president.
Yeah, but they weren't trying to put him in jail, Mike. They weren't trying to impeach the guy. They were trying to lock Trump up, put him in prison.
Whoa, wait a minute. The right wasn't talking about trying to impeach Obama? Is that what you're saying?
Impeach him for what?
They were talking about impeaching him when it came down to, was it Syria? Was it Syria? And again, Tim, they were trying to impeach Obama for any fucking thing. Let's be honest. They were looking for any reason, the tan suit. I mean, and I'm not saying they were impeaching him for the tan suit. I'm saying that they were using anything to go after him. But here's what I'm saying about Trump, because I don't like to deviate from it. All the things that happened with Trump, even with Eugene Carroll, had he just shut the fuck up, that would have never been a thing.
But even with Eugene Carroll, people were pissed off that they changed. They believe, I'm not one of the folks that believe this, but they believe they changed the statute of limitations on sexual assaults to give women permission to specifically go after Trump.
But it wasn't about Trump. And this is what happens when people don't read. It had nothing to do with Trump. And by the way, had Trump shut the fuck up, he would have never been in that situation with her, because all she did was release a book. And he's the one that brought it back up. She wasn't trying to sue him initially.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I do agree with you that Trump running his mouth has brought him misery. Because even with the Jimmy Kimmel thing, he could have let folks believe, it could have been plausible deniability that Disney did not like his comments on Charlie Kirk, and Disney took action. Even if he was urging him to do something behind the scenes, some people would have been blaming Trump, but there would have been no way to know. But then when you got the head of the FCC and you constantly weighing in on it, it becomes obvious you're involved in this shit, dude. I mean, so him opening his mouth does bring problems. I do agree with that part.
And when does he keep his mouth shut, right? And I know you don't have an answer to that.
I don't have an answer.
Because you have championed the fact that you like the fact that he comes and he talks more, and Biden never talked to Trump's always talking and blah, blah, blah. Well, his talking gets him in trouble. But I don't want to, can we slow walk this real quick?
Sure.
For people that think the government is going, when can we go back in history and see where the government went after a rich white man unjustly? Just give me another example. I know, Tim.
I'm sure. Wait a minute. I'm sure that has happened. I just can't think of one.
Well, go ahead and think. Anybody in the comments, tell me the last time a rich white man in this country was persecuted unjustly. Now, while they try to figure that shit out,
that's a great trivia question. I'm sure it's happened to somebody. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm drawing blanks. If I think about it, I got to be able to come up with somebody, right?
Yeah. Okay. Again. Yes, exactly. That's my point.
Wow, that's a good question.
The classified documents case, was that trumped up?
Brandon said Nixon, President Nixon.
Yeah, exactly.
Nixon. Wow.
Brandon's got to be laughing. But and I want to stay here, Tim. So I hope you give me
sure.
Today,
go ahead.
Because I think this is important. The January 6th case, that wasn't fake. That wasn't fake. The indictments that everyone got indicted, even Trump, everybody had to take mug shots. Again, the idea that this country, white America, wants to go, a white rich man is being persecuted in this country by a system that they created. But didn't they create it? We don't control it. Minorities don't control it.
Yeah.
Who controls it? So the idea that all these bad things are happening to him and he's just an innocent guy trying to do the best for the country is absurd, because nobody believes that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, the MAGA believes it. MAGA definitely believes this guy's a victim of Democratic overreach.
And again, that is cultish behavior, because the bottom line is this. And then the things they're complaining about right now are the very thing, like who's the snowflake right now, Tim? Who's the council culture right now, Tim? I mean, what are we actually talking about here? The bottom line is this: find me another president that used the word hate towards the American people. Just find me another one. So now you got two.
Well, let me just say this: I'm assuming it has happened, but to come out and say it publicly. Biden talked about, an island of garbage after what happened in Madison Square Garden, but to literally use the words "I hate" in reference to American people, I don't have anybody else I can come up with other than Trump that would say it out loud. Hillary Clinton or somebody may have said it in the Oval Office where there were no cameras around, but to say it on national TV multiple times, nobody said that I can think of.
Double down and say, I don't care and I may get in trouble for it. He doesn't care, Tim. He's never cared. And the people that support him, he's never been a Christian. Let's be clear on that. He's never been a Christian. And MAGA really believes in and these evangelicals and these Christians really believe that somehow he's not a Christian.
Okay. Let me say this in defense of Trump. I don't think it matters, Mike, if he's Christian or not. He is doing what leads. He is doing what's right for the Christian cause, whether it's protecting the life of the unborn. I mean, he's literally in favor of putting Christianity back in schools and things like that. So even if he's not Christian, he absolutely is an ally to the Christian and evangelical community. Certainly a hell of a lot more than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden would have been in terms of legislatively.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You think that he's done more legislatively? Well, you think that he's doing God's work by what you just said?
No, I'm not very Christian. Sometimes I don't know what the hell God's work is. But I'm going to say for folks who do believe that they are devout Christians, I'm going to say they're going to pick President Trump because, like I said, he's protecting the sanctity of the unborn. He's for putting religion back in schools. The Democrats are against that stuff. The Democrats are against it. The Democrats believe you should have freedom of religion. And that's not necessarily what most Christians agree with. They want their religion to be promoted.
This is where Christianity gets perverted. So if we're saying that he wants to protect the sanctity of children as far as AB laws are concerned, but they don't want any social programs to take care of them, they don't care about children. Because you want them to be born, but you don't want to take care of them. Where does it say that in the Bible? You want them to be born, but you don't want any social programs to help anybody. You're supposed to do unto others as they do unto you, and treat your neighbors as you would treat thyself. That's not what he says. Has he ever said anything close to that?
No. Well, but the Christian nationalists, I don't think they mind to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do for yourself approach. They just want to make sure you don't terminate the life of the unborn.
Because they're full of shit. Yeah, I said it. Because you can listen. We got to stop pontificating about taking care of people and being Christian-like and taking care of people. You can't divide the baby. Either you care or you don't. Either you care or you don't. You can't say, you're pro-life and then be okay with the unalive penalty. You can't say that you're pro-life, but then you don't care about social programs and that you don't care about helping marginalized communities. You can't split the baby and then try to make it okay to get into heaven. But this is what happens. So
are you suggesting that Republican policies by way of Trump, are you saying that their policies are not Christian-like?
I'm saying 100% they're not Christian-like. Show me one. Matter of fact, and here's the thing. Before any Christian wants to get up here, understand, slave owners would beat their slaves and recite scripture at the same time. So let's not act like, I'm telling the truth, Tim.
Yeah.
So let's just call it what it is. Because people will do the most. Listen, this country, if it was founded on Christianity, they did some of the most savage shit in the name of Christianity. They did some of the most demonic and ruthless shit to people in the name of Christianity. And if that's the bar, then that's what we're doing right now, because they're not trying to take care of everyone. They're trying to take care of some.
Well, in regards to what we're talking about, you're talking about not caring about the child after the child is born. Ghostface in the comments on YouTube says, government is not responsible for taking care of you. So be responsible. Either use prophylactics or don't try to kill your child. And when the child is born, take care of your responsibilities. That's what he's alluding to.
I know that's what he's alluding to. And again, the irony that this country, and I'm sure he's white, will tell somebody.
What does that got to do with it? What does skin color got to do with it?
I'm going to tell you why. Because this whole foundation, this whole system was built on white supremacy, Tim. What are you talking about? What does that have to do with? You can't deny that shit. When I hear somebody talking about picking themselves up by the bootstraps, who are they actually talking about, Tim? What demographics are they talking about? They're not talking about themselves. Why are they whining right now? Hold on. This country, the whole slogan was "Make America Great." Trump has white America thinking that somebody is taking something from them.
Yeah.
What he's making them think they need to get something back.
The country. The country is being taken from you. All of a sudden, you're walking around various parts. I'm going to explain it to you. All of a sudden, you're walking around various parts of America. You go in neighborhoods. The people haven't even assimilated to the point where they know how to speak English. I mean, they're seeing that. They're seeing jobs being lost to folks that should not be in the country legally. They're seeing our resources, our federal programs, everything from welfare to food stamps being given to folks that have no right to be here. You're paying to take care of their health care. This is what they're seeing, Mike.
That's what they're saying. They're not seeing that shit. It's all made up. Who was the number one recipient of all social service programs, Tim? Who's the leading in welfare? Hold on. Let's look at how the country's unfolding. If the system was created for white men, and they've been the majority, they're not the minority. They run everything. They run everything. The perfect example, Trump has the House, the Senate, and pretty much the Supreme Court. What are they whining about? What are they complaining about? They have everything. They have all the wealth in the country. They have all the access. They have white privilege. What are they complaining about?
Well,
what the fuck are they complaining about?
They're complaining that the liberals are still trying to fight behind the scenes to destroy the damn country.
Destroy the country or for equality. See, here's the thing. Equality, equity, inclusion, they don't like because it brings people from marginalized communities to the table. They don't want them at the table, but they don't want to say that shit. They don't want to say it that way, even though Charlie Kirk says it and it's palatable, but they don't want to say it that way.
No, they believe that diversity, equity, inclusion means that people are getting jobs that they didn't work hard, they didn't earn, they don't have the merit, and they're only getting it because of their skin color, gender, or sexuality.
And that's the only way they can justify their racism and bigotry, because that's not true. They have to change the definition of DEI to make themselves feel better about their racism and bigotry, because we all know that's not what it means, Tim. Right?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know you don't want to say it. I know you don't want to
I have said that. No, I have said many times that DEI does not equate to lack of merit. And I always give the example, I live in a white neighborhood, fictional example. I'm just going to give a fictional example for folks who haven't heard this. Let's say I live in a white neighborhood and I got a leak in my bathroom and I got to go to work, but I've called the plumber and said, I need you to send me out a plumber. And because I live in a white neighborhood and my police sometimes, my neighbors sometimes can call the police real quick. Make sure the plumber you send out is white. Don't, I don't even want my neighbors calling the police. He's got to go in my house. Just make sure it's a white guy. That way, people won't be suspicious. That don't mean the white guy they send out is unqualified. If it just because they're specifically picking a skin color that I asked for, picking a skin color, picking a gender, picking a sexuality does not mean that person that they pick is automatically going to be unqualified. So yeah, I've said that. DEI does not automatically equate to unqualified, because the white pilots during World War II, when they wanted the Tuskegee Airmen, they were picking black pilots. They wanted these guys. They didn't want white pilots. They wanted those dudes. That don't mean those dudes were unqualified.
No, they didn't, but they wanted the people that they thought was going to make increase their possibility to bring their ass home. Yeah. So listen, and that doesn't mean that the ones that wanted the black pilots weren't racist either. But when their ass was on the line, they wanted the person to help them come back home. Right. But let me say this, Tim. Let me make sure that I say this about this climate that we're in. Every time you hear, like, with whether it's Charlie Kirk or like the shooting, the pew-pewing in Dallas today. It was a white man, 29-year-old white guy, and he unalived 3 detainees.
What the hell do you think his purpose was? Was he a bad shot? I mean, you think he was a right winger that did not like immigrants and deliberately took them out?
Well, he's a horrible fucking shot if he was trying to hit some ICE agents. Yeah, and he hit 3 detainees. I mean, he don't need to be doing that at all. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Tim. I'm not gonna say that what he was. I'm not gonna say he was on the right. But what I'm gonna tell you is this: pay attention to how it's covered. That'll tell you what they think.
Explain. I gotta move it on, but I want you to elaborate on what do you mean by how it's covered?
Yeah, if it's not heavily covered in the media by the right, like they've been covering CK, then they can't say he's on the left. If they believe or try to pin him on the left, they're going to cover it that way.
Yeah.
That's what happens because they want to continue to push this narrative. But I'm going to say this about the Christians, and I know you want to move it on, and I appreciate you giving me some extra time with this, Tim. But we have to stop making excuses for this ideology and this agenda. It's cruel, it's harmful. For Trump, it's transactional, and as we continue to have these discussions, we allow so many things to go unrecognized. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna land my plane here. And I said this 2 days ago. You didn't bring me up the other day, but I said it when it happened. This Tylenol thing.
Yeah.
I said it then. This Tylenol thing and this First Amendment thing was going to get some pushback from the right. And the reason is there are children with autism on the right that have done the work. They know that it's not about Tylenol. Now it's touching their home. It's the same reason they talk about transgender, but they don't really talk about gay because everything.
There are some gay folks on the right. You know why do you think he went at the Tylenol and said this though? Do you think that he maybe has a beef with somebody at Tylenol or something?
There's some money to be made on the back end. Now I know Fauci was associated with that company. He says he's not anymore. The other one that they say start using that product, right?
Okay.
That Lovercorfin or whatever it was. But he's listening. You know Trump doesn't read, so it ain't like he read anything to tell him that conclusion. We all fucking know that. So he's listening to RFK and Fauci and them with these conspiracies. But here's where it's harmful, Tim, and here's why I say it's not Christian-like. They've shown us already they don't care about women, about overturning Roe v. Wade, and we've seen the impact of that with women. Women have been unalive.
Shit, women themselves, but I gotta move it on. But I'm gonna tell you something. Women themselves voted for Trump, so they clearly think that what was going on is right in terms of rolling back AB rights. I mean, Trump won the women's vote. Real quick.
And so I'm gonna leave it here. So what's happening with Tylenol right now? He's getting pushed back. Even Thune came out today and pushed back on that shit. So he's getting pushed back because autism impacts people across the aisle.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever dealt with neurodivergence. I have.
No.
I spent a considerable amount of time dealing with autism and neurodivergence in our community and my family. So I know what families go through to figure out what happened, what's going on, what could they have done differently. These studies have been going on for 30, 40 years. It's not new.
Well, let's see if they come out and prove what they said, because they absolutely should be held accountable for stating that. Mike, I got to move it on. Thanks for coming through.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, I've talked about this on social media, on my page and things like that. And a lot of folks that, support Trump, believe what Bobby Kennedy said about Tylenol, were defending it. I know somebody that's had liver problems or whatever. And my response to each one of them was, he said it has links to autism. You're naming all sorts of other things that have came from taking Tylenol. Where's the autism claim? Because that's what he talked about. He's not talking about liver damage and all this other stuff that people are, alluding to. Very similar to they eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, and then folks started sending you pictures of people eating cats and dogs in Cambodia and what they do in Haiti. No, he said in Springfield. To the topic. I don't know if they're going to be able to provide any evidence that Tylenol is linked to autism, because the medical community has been pushing back against it heavily, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to continue the program. Tap the screen, get us on up to 20,000. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body on this program. We're asking, does the president have blind hatred to the Democratic Party? By real quick though, you guys did see on the screen Joshua, I forgot what his last name is. This is the guy responsible for the shootings in Dallas that took place today. This guy took out 2 people and then himself. So that is your guy that committed that event in Dallas. I don't know why I didn't put his last name up there, but here is what President Trump had to say after that event took place. The brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. But they are facing unprecedented increase in threats, violence, and attacks by deranged radical leftists. He continues on by saying this violence is the result of the radical left Democrats constantly demonizing law enforcement, calling for ICE to be demolished, and comparing ICE officers to Nazis. Now, that last part is correct. I do believe people are comparing ICE to Nazis, but here's what I don't get, because I see a lot of my beloved MAGA on my YouTube side agreeing that what Trump said is accurate, and not, what Trump says is the radical left. If you're going to say that immigrants are vermin, they're poison in the blood of this nation, how is that not radical statements? I mean, Trump has said a hell of a lot of negative things. I mean, they're sitting all there insane in silence. I mean, Trump has said a lot of radical sounding stuff as well. Because you hear him state here that ICE is just trying to do their job and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. They're getting rid of kids and grandmas. It ain't all. Now, some of these folks may be true, genuine, bad hombres, but a whole lot of these folks are not worst of the worst. You're not going to go to deport somebody that's showing up to a court date, and that person is going to be the worst of the worst. They wouldn't be coming to court. There's a lot of folks that have been deported straight from courtrooms. So his rhetoric is also pretty damn negative in regards to immigrants, but I guess he only see it coming from the radical left. He says the radical left Democrats constantly demonizing law enforcement, as if, I guess, he don't think he's demonizing the immigrant community here. But continuing on, we'll go back to the box. Why is ICE having a hard time finding 20 million illegal people? It's a good question there, Caccio. Why is ICE having a hard time finding 20 million people? Somebody asked, are you still on here lying or what? Nathan, help correct me. Diagnosing autism in the past was diagnosing autism in the past was way more past MD's pay grade, medical doctor's pay grade, so it went underdiagnosed. Now it's overdiagnosed. That happened. Well, regardless of how you feel the diagnosis or the effort was put into diagnosing autism, this one is simple. If Tylenol is connected to autism, you should have a bunch of studies and research. You can just show your word. It's as simple as that. You should be able to prove this. If you can't prove it, then yeah, it looks really bad. You're laughing, but people going into public and shooting people is deranged. I'm not laughing at that. Let me go back to the box here real quick. I wanted to address a super chat that I don't know where it went. Hang on a second here. I want to make sure I didn't just drop my program. Someone sent the super chat, and it looks like the app, whoever sent that super chat, I do apologize, but TikTok or YouTube shut it down. So I can't find it. Trump forever says being killed. Okay, because there isn't 20 million illegal immigrants. That's a great point. Their clear view. I believe that's why they cannot find 20 million immigrants, so there's not 20 million. Magic Johnson says Tylenol ain't connected to autism. That's some bullshit propaganda. Continuing on with the program, though, we'll go straight to somebody asked, so I'm going to deliver. Gangsta Grandma. Good evening, Gangsta. The country.
Okay, for one, you owe me an apology because you say freedom of speech, and when I said saltine for your so-called bitch ass Jeremy, but for disrespecting the vet and trying to call him out saying he wasn't a vet and he's lying, and then you dropped me, and then when you had that little bitch up still and he was still disrespecting, you owe me an apology because I thought I had freedom of speech.
You do have freedom of speech. Now, here's the difference.
No.
You're not even letting me do it. You're doing it again.
But you dropped me.
Okay, let me explain to you. You have freedom of speech, so does all the other guests. When you start talking over guests that they can't speak, you're actually denying them freedom of speech. I actually told you while you were talking, let the man speak. You can criticize him, but let him get his point across. And you just kept talking over him. So at that point, you're denying his freedom of speech.
You don't let a man that never served a day in his fucking life, and your sorry ass, to let him degrade a fucking veteran. You don't do that. You don't let him call him everything. Oh, I think you're lying and all this crap. You don't do that.
You actually, when you say you don't let a man degrade a veteran, you're actually sounding like Trump. You don't get to pick and choose when somebody's freedom. You're doing it again. Hang on. You don't get to pick and choose when somebody's freedom of speech should be stopped. Okay, you don't want somebody criticizing veterans. Trump don't want somebody criticizing America. You don't get to tell somebody what they can and can't criticize. Yeah, it is what you're saying.
Out saying that he knew what he was lying and stuff. That's a difference. He doesn't know shit about the vets.
I'm not.
And you need to shut your ugly black ass. Well, you know what? Gangsta Grandma was right about you. You said it, you dumb fuck.
I'm going to go back to what I said. I don't give a damn how wrong a person is. You are entitled to freedom of speech. That's why I say on the show, you can criticize anybody, including me. I'm not going to tell you, well, because you're wrong, I'm going to turn you. No, you get to speak. When you start saying people can't criticize veterans, you're telling them what they can and can't talk about.
I see, because your black ass never served the country, and his sorry fucking $15 job over here trying to degrade a damn a vet. You guys both y'all to kiss my fucking ass. How about that? You guys both of y'all ain't shit.
You're gonna
okay, now let's get back to topic.
Okay, you're gonna tell me it's wrong for me to get involved in that conversation because I never served the country.
You should never let him do that. You should never let him do his dollar.
You know, some people think you're very critical of Trump. You are very critical of Trump. You know, some people believe you should never disrespect the president. Should I shut you up because you're doing it?
He's never served a day in his fucking life.
He's the president. He's the president, gangster. He is the president.
I don't give a fuck if he needs to get his orange squeezed. He ain't shit of a president. He's a laughing stock of the fucking United States and the fucking world.
77 million people voted for that man again.
Yeah, and they're fucking dum-dums. And they're uneducated. Like he said, why are the smart ones are the mad ones? And sitting right in front of every... You know, and that's how dumb these motherfuckers are. He's calling you motherfuckers dumb as hell. He said it to your damn fucking faces. He said everything to you motherfuckers, and you're still like, oh, I love that uncooked protein, you interbred motherfuckers.
Why do you hate MAGA so much?
Because they're racist, they're pieces of shit, and they always blame us for everything. Another pew-peering, and guess what it was? A white tee fucking man. They got issues. They need to keep their issues to themselves and quit blaming the black and brown fucking people. How about that?
Well, okay, yes, the shooter, the guy who did this does appear to be a white man, but that don't mean he can't be a leftist. He can still be a radical leftist.
It doesn't matter if he's left or right or whatever. And I got very serious. He's a left. Why would he kill undocumented immigrants?
Maybe he was a bad shot.
We're fighting for them. Why would we unalive them?
Maybe he was a bad shot.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. He's white. That's what the problem is. It's the white man. It's the colonizers. It's the ones that are the most evil of this fucking land.
You see white men, white people as evil? Somebody don't like you. Somebody don't like you. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, somebody don't like you.
I know they report they don't like the truth, but it is the truth. I'm not saying all people. There are allies that take their white privilege and use it against them. Okay, I'm not saying all white tea people. They're the ones that are fighting for us. They're using their white tea privilege for us, to help us. I'm not talking about them. I am talking about the colonizers.
You got a few folks that are pushing back. LaTanya Smith says you forgot to take your meds, ma'am. Benjamin says I want to see Wiener's laptop from hell. Somebody says she got issues. Her welfare checks are not coming. Steven says your welfare checks are not coming. And
oh, damn.
Huh?
I swear to God, the white man's on that more than anybody. The white man's on it. You guys cut your nose, spite your face, you dum-dums. Because who is all going to be hurt when all this shit comes? The food stamps, the welfare. You're seeing the vet. They're already starting.
Yeah.
You know, people over here saying, oh, no, they need to. Yeah. And guess who? The red states. The red states are going to hurt the worst. And it's the white tea people.
But the red states and the YT people are overwhelmingly happy with President Trump. Why is that if what you're saying is true?
You know what? You know what's the most craziest? They voted for hate. And you know this because of the same damn white tea people crying about eggs and the cheese going up. Now the beef is like in orbit. $18.99 a pound for ribeye steaks. 2 steaks costing me over $40 damn.
I don't know. Now, you know how your picture has people misled about you. Your statements also, because I got Regina in the comments. She is basically saying your attitude matches MAGA. Speak your mind, caller. So she's saying you sound like MAGA.
Well, you know what? She could kiss my black ass. How about that? Because I don't. I'm speaking the truth. See, the MAGAs don't want to hear the truth. They voted for hate. They didn't want a woman in office. They didn't want a black woman, especially an educated black woman in office. She was not black enough for some people, or she was G-side and every damn thing else. They had her. They hated her before they even got to know her. Now look what we're at. We have tariffs going through the roof. Our First Amendment is getting shithole. We're not going to have a democracy at the fucking end. He's going after everybody that disapproves of his ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is what they voted for. And you over here with the uncooked protein dripping from your lips, fluffing all the damn time.
How am I fluffing? I mean...
You stay fluffing. You stay fluffy. It's like you like the uncooked protein dripping.
I don't know what you're talking about. Listen.
You know what I'm talking about.
I believe in free speech for all. I don't see anything that's wrong with that. Tap the screen, folks.
Of course I know, because you allow them to call you color. You allow them to call you boy. You allow them to call you the N-word.
All the shit.
Yes.
But but how does it look with you telling me I allowed them to say all these things about me? You've been calling me ugly and saying all kinds of shit about me.
I said ugly. I didn't call you no racist ass name. I said ugly.
So ugly is okay then.
Hey, if the shoe fits.
Oh my God. So I'm not racist, I'm just ugly.
Because I'm done with your ratty raccoon looking ass.
What?
That's what it is. I'm done with you.
See, all
you do is stay fluffy.
Let me just say something.
All you do is stay fluffy.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say this to my audience. This is not necessarily just to you, Gangsta Grandma, but to my audience on YouTube and TikTok, all of my platforms. Being liberal, leaning left, being MAGA friendly, trying to maintain a free speech program. This is what you get. You can't please any fucking body. The left hates you, they call you a raccoon. The right calls you a libtard. I believe in free speech, but you see what I have to put up with? So for all you folks watching, if you like this shit, if you like free speech, hold on. I'm going to simply ask if you like free speech. Subscribe to the channel. Follow the program you're watching on TikTok. Give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube and a follow if you're watching on Facebook. But trying to maintain an audience from all sides, it ain't easy. You make it clear it's not easy. I'm not fluffing.
It's not, but you know why?
Why?
You know why? They voted for hate. They voted against you, and you still their ass. They literally voted against you.
Tell me what MAGA, what leads you to believe MAGA voted against people like me? What have you seen?
Are you serious?
Yes,
Tim,
yes.
They knew what they was going to do. They knew what they was going to pull.
What are they?
They voted against the LGBTQ community. They voted against the trans community. They voted against women. They don't give a damn if a woman unalive after childbirth. They're forced birth. They're not pro-life at all. They're not, because after the baby's born, good, bye. They're not pro-life.
But let me ask you that question again. And by the way, EJ Loomis, appreciate that. Good afternoon. Thank you. Some of you folks that helped me reach my TikTok cap goal up there. Thank you. But let me ask you this, because I asked you, what has MAGA done to hurt people like me? Since you said they voted for hate for people like me.
None of us. They don't like no black and brown people.
What has Trump done? What has Trump done that's been critical of the black community? I'm asking you. What has Trump done?
Look what they're doing to the immigrants.
I'm not an immigrant. I'm not an immigrant.
Dumb.
I'm not an immigrant.
Those black immigrants, dumb. dumb.
I'm not an immigrant. You said people like me. You said people like me. What has Trump done to harm black people?
You are black, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm not an immigrant.
It doesn't matter.
People think you're.
He's doing homegrown.
People think you're making.
What are you talking
People
about?
think you're making shit up. People think you're making shit up.
Shit. Oh my God, Tim. I mean, you know what? Go get dick down. Okay, that's what you fucking deserve. Go get dick down by a white man. You are such a fucking. You are such a. Oh, I'm gonna call you. Oh God. Because you know why? You're gonna say that. Oh, he hasn't did nothing to you. You're stupid as fucking hell. You're fucking uneducated, just like they are. Because if you don't think they're not coming for us, you're stupid.
Why do
you're fucking plain ass stupid?
I asked you a simple question.
I told you, they're coming for us. There's black immigrants. They're coming from homegrown. They're doing stupid shit. He even said he's gonna make more prisons for the homegrown. He's gonna try to ship criminals out of the country. You don't think he's not gonna do that? He said it. See, that's how dumb you motherfuckers are. You're all, well, he's just saying it just to say it. No, you take people what they say. Okay. You take people seriously what they say.
Okay.
And he's doing what he's saying.
I got an audience that rotates every night. I got hundreds of people watching right now. I'm asking you, not based on my knowledge, I want you to answer this question for the viewers watching. What has Trump did to lead you to believe that he's a harm or a threat to black people?
Oh my! I just told you.
No, you didn't. You didn't say nothing. You called me an idiot. You didn't say anything.
Okay, you know what, Jim? You're dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb as fucking hell. I told you. Just because you're black and you think you're safe and you think you're an American, that he's not going to do shit to you, you're sadly mistaken. Because if you know anything, you know about history. The W back in the 1930s. Right. Oh, God.
Now, I'm going to tell you.
No, listen to me.
I've been trying to.
Listen, the 1930s, W back. I can't say the real thing because it's racist. They deported, dumb, American citizens, dumb.
Now, how do you
they won't deport your black ass? You're sadly mistaken. Because they did it once and they're going to do it again.
How do you respond to Dave in the comments? Dave says this is why the Democrats lost, listening to people like you.
No, you know why the Democrats lost? Because of ignorant people like them. They voted for hate. They didn't want a black educated woman to come up and help us and give you guys $6,000 tax credit for your kids. They didn't want the $20,000 to $50,000 bonus to help you motherfuckers get first-time businesses. They didn't want the 25,000 new homeowners thing. Oh, no, they didn't want all that. Oh, no. They wanted hate and division. That's what they wanted. She wasn't black enough for some black folks.
No chance that maybe she was just a bad candidate?
She wasn't bad. She was more educated than that fucking rowdy Tootie.
Being educated, I'm about to call you Kamala. Gangsta Grandma, being educated don't make you a good candidate, though. Just because.
Let me tell you something. She started from the bottom. She was a prosecutor. She went to a district attorney. She made it all up to AG. What else does it make it? Then she was a senator. Then she was a vice president. You dumb.
Well,
that made her qualified for more than that piece of shit that's in office. Dumb.
That might work for Drake in rapping. Started from the bottom, now I'm here, but that don't always work in politics.
Why they call you fluffing? You know how many people in my inbox saying that you're a cupcake and that you fluff too damn much? Oh yeah, I can show. I got receipts. Motherfuckers are calling you a cupcake. You fluff too damn much, and you make them sick.
Jesus. All right, I'll leave it at that.
You stay on the white man's cock. That's what you do. You give them, oh my God, she was not a good candidate. She was. She was very much so. They just do, you know what? Half this damn country is racist. The other half is misogyny. The other half don't like women, period. They want us barefoot and pregnant with no voting rights. That's what they want. You know another thing why the AB is such a hot topic? Because they need the white women to give birth to their white kids because they're coming and they're mixing and they're not going to have that many more. That's what they think.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the white man's still gonna be here.
Okay, I do gotta move it on, but just in closing,
one more thing I gotta tell you off the damn topic. You need to start treating people that pay $10 a month better than what the fuck you are doing. Because there's super subscribers that we pay $10.
You're on the program every night. Wait, hold on. You're on the program every night, cussing me the hell out. How much better can I treat you?
I have to wait though. And other people pay too.
All right.
You should not have to wait.
All right, I gotta go. Moving on. And by the way, in regards to what she said, this woman was a bad candidate. It's as simple as that. A lot of folks felt that this woman was a bad candidate. Whether you agree or disagree, she received less votes. Because people say, you know, was it her being a white man or a black woman or whatever? This woman received less votes than this guy from the black community. The black community voted more for this dude than they actually did for what would have been the first black woman president. So take it as you may. Take it as you may. Real quick in the comments, and I see in the comments somebody said this is why you guys lost listening to women like that. It wasn't a blowout victory. No, it wasn't for the great. No, he didn't. Trump is going to tell you every victory he's involved in is a landslide. No, it wasn't a blowout victory, but he won hands down. I mean, he won all 7 swing states, but he did win hands down. This lady's mom overdosed on Tylenol while pregnant. Christopher Wilson, yikes, suggesting that my last caller's mother overdosed on Tylenol. If she was a bad candidate, the other was atrocious. Well, the other one got a whole lot more votes. So call it as you will. We know that was fixed. You think the last election was fixed? Let me go back to the box. By the way, tap the screen. Get us on up to 40,000 if you will. But less people voted for Trump than they did when he went against Biden. Well, then maybe that means that Biden was a better candidate during his prime than both Trump and Kamala Harris. Tap the screen, get the lights on up, get your gown up to about 40,000. We can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Because they gerrymandered, which is cheating. Well, Benson Williams, you get gerrymandering from both sides. So gerrymandering is cheating. I'm gonna agree with that, unless, because there are some cases where gerrymandering makes sense. If there has been a lot of moving, a lot of migration, it can make sense. I mean, people do move around. I mean, there's a whole lot of people leaving California, for instance, and going to places like Texas and Arizona. Or you could look at, let's say, the black community back in the 40s when they were running from oppression and Jim Crow laws and moving up north to places like Chicago and Detroit. I mean, there are some times where there's a whole lot of migration. Likely with President Trump, what he's doing with the deportations, it ain't just affecting the illegal immigrants. I'm sure that legal Hispanic residents are moving around as well. Because now they've passed a law where ICE can fuck with you just for being brown. So that doesn't just mean that means that even if you are 100% legal, you could be an American born in this country that just happen to look Hispanic. They now have access to you. So I'm certain that that's leading some Hispanics to leave certain areas. There may be areas where people are real anti-immigrant, far right areas. If you live in that area, they're probably not going to be very friendly to you. American citizenship be damned. It's probably not a good place for you to be. So some of them are probably moving around as well. Thank you for that TikTok cap. Handsome conservative. Love the name. Thank you. So we'll continue on. Wow, and you think that's okay. No, I do not. No, I do not think anybody moving out of fear is okay. And if they're allowing law enforcement to, profile, stop, and pull over folks and question folks and demand citizenship from actual Americans just because they happen to be brown, that's not good at all. I don't like that. I don't like the Supreme Court gave Trump the power to do that, but that is where we are. So, yeah, it's probably causing legal American citizens that happen to be brown to move from certain areas. If you're Hispanic looking, you know, let's say your grandma was Hispanic and she came to the country and you've been in the country, born and raised, but you look Mexican as hell. You're probably a lot safer off living in Chicago than Huntsville when it comes to law enforcement. You probably don't want to be down there. It's just what it is. Looking at the comments, illegal immigrants working here send $96 billion to their home countries every year. 96 billion, you think it's that high? I can't speak on it. I'm going to plead ignorance. I do know they send money home, but I don't know if it's 96 billion. I tell you it is, as opposed to being so focused on how much illegal immigrants are sending back to their home countries. We should be more concerned at how much CEOs are pocketing by hiring them to begin with, because that's what's hurting the American worker more than the illegal immigrant. The immigrant is only coming to fill jobs that are being offered. We need to focus more on going after the people that are giving them a reason to come to begin with. We're not doing that. We're going to these. I mean, they went to the Nissan plant and they took like 400 and some South Koreans or whatever, and they did not arrest the people who actually run the company. You just took the immigrants and let the people who actually created that mess stay behind. We need to actually go after them folks. They're the ones with deep pockets. They can pay for some of the mess. Anyway, looking in the comments, how do you pay taxes with no Social Security card? You pay taxes, you just don't get them back. Well, first of all, you end up working under an assumed name, under an illegal, under some other name. That's what they're doing. Let me go back to the box, and thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Continuing on with Dencal. Good evening, welcome to the program. It is impossible to buy things in this country without paying taxes. And that's true too. That you're certainly paying taxes in that way. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm hoping you're gonna be a little bit more civilized. I just got that shit beat out of me by Gangsta Grandma once again.
Man, I feel for you, man. I had to turn the volume down, man. I had to recalibrate after that. Every time.
What did I do? I mean, I'm sucking dick. I need to be. She said I need to be dicked down by a white man.
Hey, that's the cost of freedom of speech, bro. You the main advocate, so
yeah,
you got to take it. I don't, but you do.
and let me say that. Let me reiterate what you just said. That's the cost of freedom of speech. That goes to my MAGA viewers as well, regardless of what my politics is. Damn it, when I say we're all about free speech, I'm literally the sacrificial lamb. Now, that woman is obviously liberal, and you see how she came at me. So for my MAGA viewers, if you ever question whether or not I let MAGA speak, I let folks on the right speak, I understand probably my most harshest critic is Democrats. So we let everybody speak. Somebody says she's obviously deranged, but what about this notion that Trump seems to have blind hatred for Democrats? Do you see any validity to that?
Before I answer that, I just want to go back real quick to that person who said that Hispanic people send $96 billion.
Yeah, that's a big number.
All they got to do is get on their computer and put in 96 billion divided by 25 million and break down how much they would have to send back home.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about it that way. If you're claiming that there's 20 million illegals here and they send in 96, yeah, that's a great point.
We're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Say it's 35 million of them. We gonna tell them it's 50 million of them here illegally, and tell them do the math, and then look in the mirror and call yourself what you really are.
That is probably the best answer to that I have ever heard. You're going to say they're sending home $96 billion to their countries, and we got 20 million illegals. Think about how much each individual would have to be making to send home to make your number work. It's insane. That's I don't know why that didn't come to my mind. That is a great response to that.
And then somebody talking about that they don't pay tax. They pay all kinds of taxes. Maybe not all of that money goes into the income tax, but all of this property tax, all of the stuff that we pay, car, your tax on your car, all of the other taxes they pay. The tax to buy food, the tax to buy anything from the mall, they pay, those taxes go into the Treasury of the United States. Just because it's not from, it's just not. Just because it's not from your actual, your paycheck doesn't mean you're not paying taxes.
That is a good point. Yeah, every purchase you make in this country, from movie tickets to a car, every purchase you make has taxes on it.
Right.
That's a great point. So, yeah, the idea that immigrants are not paying taxes, yeah, that's probably the best way to look at it. They're definitely paying taxes, just like you and I, and they're not getting anything back because they can't file taxes at the end of the year if they're an illegal immigrant.
Right. They can't retrieve any government. They can't control. They can't get Social Security even after they've been paying taxes in this country. So a lot of them do it on fake. They do it on fake Social Security card numbers. So they paying taxes. They working a job. The same way them people was, them South Koreans was paying when they came here to work. That got kicked out. They was paying into our system. They ain't never was gonna see a dime of it.
And the South Koreans is another perfect example because with President Trump. He actually posted today in regards to this ICE shooting. He said that the brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of this country, but they are facing unprecedented increase in threats, violence, and attacks by the deranged radical left. The South Koreans we're talking about, does anybody believe they qualify as the worst of the worst? I mean, they were at work. Them people ain't got no criminal history at all. So that does also, put what he said, clearly in the wrong category. Because they deported like 400 and some people at that plant down in Georgia. The people are not the worst of the worst.
And all of them were here was on a temporary status. None of them planned on staying here. They were literally sent by the company to finish construction and train the American people how to run the plant. And they were all going back home.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that because Trump can see the, what he call it, radical, deranged, leftists saying all kinds of stuff. I don't think he or his supporters realize that he does it too. I mean, he does it too. So they only see it coming from the left. But certainly when you're starting to talk about you're deporting the worst of the worst, and people are looking at these South Koreans, this doesn't fit them. These are not, rapists and murderers you're deporting out of this Hyundai plant. They don't qualify for any of that. So when you say ICE is deporting the worst of the worst, clearly that's not happening. You're taking folks that are just working on cars and sending them home.
Right. And the question you asked me, the first question, I mean, it's like as a rhetorical question. Like he's saying he hates us. It's not like we trying to interpret what he's saying to see if he hates us. He's saying he hates all of his political opponents, which means every last one of us who disagrees with his politics, he hates us. We don't have to guess and say, well, maybe or something. He's saying all of us.
Is there any way we can get past that? Let's say you want to unite the country and you want to bring us together. You often hear liberals say that. You often hear some MAGA saying that we need to get past the rhetoric and come together. With the president saying he hates Democrats, essentially, is there any way we can unite and get past this?
No, not as long as he's the leader of this country. We cannot. His rhetoric is only getting worse. They said, look, what I wouldn't do for some mean tweets and some $2 gas, them tweets is not the same. I mean, he is out here full-blown authoritarian. He telling the whole world at the UN, like, I'm right about everything.
Man, did you see that 59 minutes? Did you watch that speech at the UN?
I could not watch more than about 2 to 3 minutes of him, like live. But I just seen the clips, and he's telling them, if you guys want to pursue environmental protections, you're going to destroy your countries. And America, we got everything. We so great. and it was humiliating.
I listened to it all. I was working, but I always have the earphone in my ear. I listened to all 59 minutes of that when I between trips in the car, because I keep the phone hanging from the rearview mirror so I could actually see him up there. And I'm really, my God, I'm surprised that some of them folks. It was in New York, so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm like, you guys are gonna sit here and listen to all of this? I mean, he was talking to them like they were shit.
Come on, man. They scared. He is out there blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela, sending battle groups over there, and then telling them there's no more boats coming across anymore. There's no more boats. What in the fuck is that?
Yeah, he talked about all the leaders of Iran are dead. I mean, my God, I'm listening. And then, of course, he started talking about how bad Switzerland is and their open border policies. He started talking about, climate change is a scam and all of that. And the countries that are dealing with that are going to fail. The criticism was so widespread. Like I said, I'm just watching this like, you guys are just going to sit here and let him do this to you. I mean, he's just talking shit about every country. I mean, he talked about how awful the mayor of London is. Like, you guys are just sitting there and letting him do that to you? I didn't get it.
The only country that spoke up so far has been Colombia. They the only ones, they literally got up there and said, we got to do an investigation on this fucking dude. the only country was Colombia.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, though, that he would get up there and do that. And then within 24 hours, he's talking about the radical left and all the stuff they say. Like, did you not hear yourself at the... I mean, that speech was terribly critical of everybody.
It was terrible, man, for like, he forgot what the UN... and what the United Nations, why they were even created, to resolve international conflicts and to reduce the possibility of having another world war. That's their whole goal in life. And he getting up there saying, if y'all just don't listen to me and do what I say, every one of y'all is fucked, and I'm great, and y'all not. Like, it was so horrible.
It was rough. Like I said, I listened to all 59 minutes of it, and it was rough. But let me ask you this, because we know FIFA World Cup and Olympics are coming here, both under Trump's term. Do you think there's a chance that may be canceled? I mean, because he stated everybody wants to come here and things like that, but fact is, international tourism to America is down. I won't say historically low, but it's pretty bad. I mean, whether we're talking Disney World, whether we're talking Vegas, whether we're talking Niagara Falls, you name it, it is down significantly. Do you think there's a chance that it may be, that may actually be, halted?
I don't think so, man. These countries are still terrified because they know that the power that America has when we're in control of the monetary policy of just about the whole world. Like, look, they're trying to just hang on until he goes away. People are just accepting a whole lot of shit that they wouldn't normally. Otherwise, they might just do it because nobody on the committee or the FIFA committee is going to be willing to say, look, who going to tell him we taking this thing away from him when we know the power he has to internationally to disrupt our money making.
So what are you saying? He's governing from a standpoint of like the bully pulpit? He's got everybody afraid? I mean, like a mob boss?
These countries are fucking terrified. They are. And I don't blame them because I've been a part of the military. I know what they can do. And then when you have not only the military, but you have all of the basically oligarchs in the world, basically, between the Israeli, all of the billionaires in America, when you got them all in your hand and you can cut off, you can cut off the internet to places you can do so many things that are destructive around the world. Like, they got a right to be afraid.
But speaking of fear, now Miss Mobetta in the comments says that they are not terrified. We are destroying ourselves. Do you see any long-term? Because if we're bullying everybody and we're making them scared and they're cooperating with us, then that would put us at the top of the pyramid. But she is saying we are destroying ourselves. Do you see any validity in that or any possibility in that?
I'm saying that both of things can be true at the same time. Like we can, they're doing what they need to do to try to get by. But that doesn't. They are terrified. Those countries are scared to speak. Now they're doing stuff against us, like all of the countries that are saying that they're gonna acknowledge Palestinian state. That's all of the countries going against us.
Yeah.
So they are doing certain things, but when it comes down to individually, they're not going to take a chance like that. The only reason why they all voted is because they all voted. They all voted to recognize Palestinian. But not one country would do it on their own.
Yeah, but our adversaries, India, China, Russia, and North Korea, they didn't have a problem meeting up. We know we know whatever they're talking about is not pro-America. And Vladimir Putin has all but embarrassed President Trump. I mean, he don't seem to be scared of Trump at all. We can talk about all these other nations at the UN, but it's pretty clear Putin is not afraid of Trump at all.
Or Netanyahu. Those are the two exceptions to the rule, I would say. The 2 out of 170 or 80.
Well, I don't think he's making a significant amount of threat to Netanyahu. So I mean, if he really started coming down on Netanyahu, I think but he's actually made a lot of threats to Putin, and Putin ain't budging.
Well, I mean, he made threats. He made veiled threats to Netanyahu.
Yeah, he did.
Talking about he was disappointed in him, how he was handling the issue, and so he's gone against traditional. Like normally, we just don't go against nothing they say, nothing that Israel says. I mean, any president. If you look, they've all made their pilgrimage to the way.
What is so special about them that both the Democrats and the Republican Party just go behind Israel blindly? What is so special about Israel that they get that kind of power?
The power of AIPAC and the power that everybody knows that, and I don't like to sound like I'm anti-Semitic or anything, but everybody knows the power that the Jewish people have accumulated when it comes to media, social media, television stations, radio stations, music. Like, they run all of that shit. Yeah. And people know that if they exert their will in certain areas, it's going to be hard for people to, do what they want to do.
Yeah, and I see when I asked you that question, Daniel, and I think they also started talking about AIPAC as well. I got to move it on Dencal, but somebody even said the United States of Israel. So I guess we're just really, we're on the hook with Israel, I suppose. Even if they end up dragging us into a war with the entire Middle East or something.
Yeah, and the last thing is they want to blame the Democrats for the escalator not working at the UN.
I heard him say he wants an investigation into that. Look, for a guy who talks about snowflakes and being petty, like goddamn, okay, the escalator didn't work. Fix this shit. Move on. A whole investigation.
It's another one right next to it. Like, dude. They said they want to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, I heard him also say because he said the teleprompter didn't work, and he said whoever put this teleprompter up there is in big trouble. I mean, yeah, he likes us because if I'm the guy who brought that teleprompter and put it on stage, like shit, is he for real? Like, I'm about to lose my job? Like, damn, I got to move it on Dencal, but we do got a mob boss for a president. Thank you.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. And man, it's powerful. Tap the screen, folks. Get us on up to 60,000. We're getting close there. Let your thumbs not be lazy. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody on this program. If you do like free speech, you're going to hear some things you favor, some things you don't. By the way, folks wondering how do you call in? How do you get on the program? The Handsome Liberal on TikTok. If you got that app, come on over. We'll bring you right up, regardless of your politics, regardless of who you want to criticize. We have a right to free speech here. We'll certainly protect that. Tim Liberals on Facebook. Tim Liberals, L-I-B-E-R-A, Liberals with an S, L-I-B-E-R-A-L-S, Tim space Liberals. So if you got Facebook, We're live currently on Facebook as well. So come on up. We'll bring you up. You can actually come up on either one of those platforms, TikTok or Facebook. We'll bring you right back up. But unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow that to happen. So otherwise, I have a lot of MAGA on YouTube. So I would love to talk to my beloved MAGA, but I can't do it on YouTube because of the way they have YouTube set up. It was his videographer that stopped the escalator. I don't know who stopped the escalator, but this shouldn't be a, escalator gate type scam. Okay, the escalator stopped. So fucking what? I mean, this delayed you all of 20 seconds because you walked up. Big deal. I mean, that should be water under the bridge to be still talking about that. I mean, to me, it really comes off as being incredibly petty. Somebody says Biden pooped himself. I don't understand why Biden is coming up in this. But we're talking about blind hatred. Simply put, before we go to the next caller, every single time you put a microphone in front of President
cuts and military, not one day.
Every single time you put a microphone in front of President Trump's face, he is talking about how much he hates Democrats. Every time. Either he's talking about hating Democrats or he's speaking negatively of a member of the Democratic Party. In front of the UN, he went all in on Joe Biden. He's been president now, 9 months almost? Every single time he's in front of a microphone, he is criticizing the Democratic Party or a Democrat. Even when Elon Musk was in good standing and he had the Tesla on the White House lawn and he was promoting Tesla. He sat in the Tesla and the first thing he said is, I bet you Biden couldn't do this. I mean, Biden has nothing to do with this Tesla commercial you're dealing right now. So I'm asking, why does this man seem to have blind hatred for the Democratic Party? And I'm not just simply saying that as speculation. It comes from clip after clip after clip of President Trump saying it himself.
In the campaign that's coming up, the midterms, because we got to beat them. But all of the things that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that? So do me. I really do. I hate them.
And that's Trump at a rally talking about how much he hates Democrats. And that ain't the first time. I mean, I'm asking you folks, why does this man seem to, as president, openly hate the Democratic Party so much?
This is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that? Because we have radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy, although they want men and women sport.
The radicals on the left are the problem. You hear him saying that. And then, of course, this one kind of took the cake because you heard him say it at the recent, it was this weekend, wasn't it? Sunday, at the memorial for the late Charlie Kirk.
Truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
So the simple question, why do we have a president using the word I hate so often? Let's talk about the notion that the Democrats allegedly brought it on themselves. Do you believe the Democrats, by way of yes or no in the comments, do the actions of the Democratic Party warrant having the president hate people so often? Do you believe the Democrats have treated Trump so bad that it's acceptable to have a president constantly talking about how much he hates people? State it in the comments, yes or no. I hate the Democrats. I hate these people. I don't wish the best for them at all. Constantly suggesting that he has hatred in his heart. Do you believe what he went through is justification enough for that? Now, I will also point out, for folks who are God-fearing, my Christian folks, you know, you've seen Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, talking about how she forgave someone who actually took Charlie Kirk's life in front of her. Trump doesn't come across as a forgiving man. He obviously hasn't experienced anywhere near anything as bad as what Erica Kirk went through, and she's already talking about forgiveness only a few days later. He's still talking about hatred for stuff he may have experienced years ago. Anyway, look at it in the comments. These are not the actions or words of a president at all. Instead, he's already acting like an authoritarian, says Aaron Martin. Right. You're punching air, says Rich. Okay, fair enough. Let's swing at the air. As a good fake Christian, he is full of hate. Wow, Thorben. Continuing on, because Charlie's wife knows what being a Christian is all about. So, handsome conservative, you're saying Charlie Kirk's wife knows what being a Christian is all about, and maybe Trump does not? Is that what you're indicating? Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 70,000. Help your boy get on up to the... Help your boy out with that TikTok goal, with that TikTok cap goal. Sherbert, good evening, welcome to the program. Absolutely no, that's just a product of inferior mindset. He says Trump has LDS. Was that liberal derangement syndrome? Is that what you're telling me? Sherbert, good evening.
How's it going, Tim?
I don't even know on this, man. Our president is talking about how much he hates members of his own constituency. What say you?
I mean, he hates everybody that's not him or isn't directly, like, singing his praise. That's been really clear since 2015. And then, if you are willing to immediately turn your tune and praise him to all high heaven, then he'll start liking you again. It's a very transactional relationship, and it has been from the beginning.
Well, then, if that's the case, then you're suggesting that it is a way we can unify then. I mean, you know...
I won't do it.
So you won't sing the praises of President Trump?
No, God, no.
What about
He is an evil person.
Wow, you think he's evil?
I think he's the Antichrist. That's pretty evil.
Based on what?
The ear wound is a big one.
JD, thank you.
Everyone will treat him as a savior. I don't know the full story, but everything I've ever heard about the Antichrist absolutely fits him, down to a T.
Damn, you see him as the anti-shit. I don't know if I put him that, that's pretty bad. The Antichrist? The guy's telling us he's Christian. He's a God-fearing man.
He could be a sociopath, narcissistic sociopath, but at least the Antichrist.
Well, I don't think anybody denies that Trump is a narcissist. In fact, most presidents are narcissistic just to get to that level. But the Antichrist is a hell of a, that's a much stronger conviction you're throwing at him.
Tim, I've told you that 20 different times. This isn't anything new with my beliefs.
You told me 20 times that he's the Antichrist?
Yes, and you just went, oh, that's pretty extreme. Yeah.
It's very extreme. It is very extreme. But folks are saying that Trump has went through a hell of a lot with the Democratic Party, hating on him, calling him a Nazi and a fascist, that he has a right to be angry.
No. He has the right to be a little baby back bitch like he is.
Baby back bitch.
He doesn't have the reason, he doesn't have the right to be angry at us just because we call him out on his horseshit. Like trying to do an insurrection. And all the people that accuse that, I think you're evil, bad people as well.
Well, when you say trying to do an insurrection, some are going to suggest that that was not an insurrection because they didn't have weapons.
I don't care what they say. That was a goddamn insurrection because I remember watching that live and going, holy fuck, there's an insurrection happening.
So those are your exact words, huh? There's an insurrection happening.
Yes. And then the news reported on it. And then the January 6th trials reported that it was an insurrection.
Yeah.
Every goddamn person said it was an insurrection except for the people that were in the cult. The same way in Gaza, there's a genocide going on. Oh, no, you can't say that. This isn't the Jews. Like, no. this is a genocide.
You know,
trying to destroy the people. Look at the geographical maps of the city and then tell me that's not the case.
I got a video that I'm hesitant to play. I hate to be in this position, but I don't even want to play it, and I'm not going to play it right now. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with it. But Charlie Kirk, actually, before he died, said what you just said. He said that Israel had some kind of mandate where they were going to wipe out the Palestinian people and take that country over. I mean, he said that. Charlie Kirk did during an interview that they were going to commit an act of genocide and take over the Palestinian. I mean, I was like, wow, is this coming from Charlie Kirk? But I actually have him on video saying it. So what I'm starting to wonder is this 22-year-old that allegedly took the life of Charlie Kirk, did he act on somebody else's orders?
I don't like to get super
I don't either.
But
But when I've seen him say that,
there's a lot more likeliness of that happening than I ever would have guessed 4 years ago.
Wow.
Holy crap. Play the victim and then do horrible things and then still pretend to be the victim. Basically the same way Trump does it. But Israel, I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, and they have every inch of my benefit.
Wow. Yeah, I see Mike in the comments also said that's what I said. I thought it was very conspiratorial, and I'm no, big time Charlie Kirk fan, but to see even Charlie Kirk said Israel has a mandate. I mean, he really stated it fairly well. I mean, if I didn't know who Charlie Kirk, I'm like, damn, what is he saying? But he was really crystal clear and said it. They have a mandate, and they're going to, and he kind of, I think he stated while he observed how awful it was on October 7th, he was indicating that they're using this as an excuse to carry out something they've already wanted to do.
I'm getting really tired of people telling me not to believe my lying eyes.
Wow. So let me ask you this, man. Why do you believe that America is now basically the lone nation that is not only refusing to accuse Israel of genocide, but they're also refusing to recognize the Palestinian state? All of our allies, I think just about all of NATO actually recognizes what Israel is doing is wrong. We are the lone country right now that is the ally of Israel. Why do you think that is?
Our temperature is turned way too hot to come to an agreement with anybody, let alone the entire world right now. We can't agree on anything, let alone actual facts.
Even NATO? We can't agree with our allies? That's diabolical.
Oh, you gotta be joking with me, Tim.
Our allies.
Of course we don't trust NATO right now. We don't even trust Canada. We tariffed an island of penguins. What do you think? The entire world hates us. They were already laughing at us. And then we screwed the pooch and tariffed the entire world. Of course NATO doesn't like us. Trump has been talking about getting rid of NATO.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Tim?
Well, what
This is why you're fluffing.
I'm asking questions. And by the way, in the comments, I see Will G says, MAGA ain't shit. He says, still on former Vice President Harris's crotch while they excuse the idiocracy they voted for happened before our very eyes. Are you aware that Kamala Harris released a book, 107 Days?
No, I wasn't.
I've been tempted to get it. I mean, she's been going around on the circuit. She's been on The View and where else is she? She didn't do this ABC. I'm telling you, she's been several places though. Letting them interview her in clips. I mean, she was kind of critical of Joe Biden, stating that they didn't really back her up. They didn't give her the energy she needed and things like that. But yeah, Kamala Harris released a book. It's called 107 Days. Apparently, it's a decent read if you're concerned with what happened and why she didn't win.
I don't really give a shit about any political person's book, like how when Jake Tapper released that about how they were covering up for Biden. I don't really give a fuck what Jake Tapper has to say. Just tell me what the news is of the day.
Well, but
Kamala lost. She's irrelevant right now.
No, but
and when we get closer, that might be more important. But right now, I don't care what she says.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is irrelevant, but I mean, there's plenty of Democrats that are still in the party that also covered up for Biden. Would you not want to hold them accountable if they didn't tell you this guy's health was failing and lied to the American people?
As a general rule, probably.
Yeah.
But within the circumstances we are in right now, if they lied about that, I really couldn't care less when we have the most lyingest president ever, just straight up telling me not to believe my lying eyes.
The most lyingest president ever. Joe Shalom is on your side. He says, caller is 100% on point. Tim, you are grifting. But here's what's funny, because he actually gave us a $10 super chat. He says, Tim, you are grifting. Here's $10. Great work. Now help us save the damn country, please. Wow. Joe, thank you, but that is funny. I am not fluffing. I'm asking questions.
You have to do it to create a good show, but goddamn, sometimes you be flubbing with how ignorant you sound, even though I know it's just to provoke a question.
Well,
damn, it sounds like flubbing.
Oh my God. Well, fact is, because I have a rotating audience, sometimes it's 300 or 400, sometimes it's a few thousand, certainly on YouTube. I have to ask the question, if somebody says like Trump is a racist or he's ignorant or a new audience is going to be asking, what the hell did Trump ever say that's racist? So I have to ask you that. Every single time you say it, I'm going to ask you again, what's making... Some people have called Trump a racist and have no evidence, nothing to provide at all, making themselves look like an idiot. So I do have to challenge you.
Fair. The problem is when you ask if Trump's ever said anything racist, you really only have to look back a couple of weeks, usually, and he'll have said something very dumb and very racist.
Okay, well, now that you've put yourself out there, I'm going to challenge you. What has Trump said in recent time to indicate he's a racist?
I don't have a good example. I'm working right now. My brain is only working halfway.
I'm being told Trump done more for black people than anybody since Abraham Lincoln.
That's funny when he tried to defund the HBCUs.
Yeah.
And every single one of his budgets, he tried to take them down to zero, and then everyone else stopped doing that. So when you say he's done the most, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, here's one. I haven't talked about this on the show as much as I'd like to, but this came in. This is from this week. This is pretty. It's ongoing. I won't say breaking news, but it's ongoing. I want to get your take on this.
Is expected to approve a proposed deal this week that would ensure TikTok in the U.S. is majority owned by American investors. It would also keep user data in a trusted cloud in the U.S. Reporter Mark Meredith breaks down the details of the deal.
TikTok lives on. The Trump administration says the popular social media platform will remain in business as it announces a deal to transfer the app from Chinese company ByteDance to U.S. ownership.
This is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use very fun app.
For years, Washington has wrestled with how to salvage the app while keeping its successful but addictive content recommendation algorithm. Under this new deal, cloud computing firm Oracle will provide app security in the U.S., operating a form of the algorithm outside of ByteDance's control.
They're going to get a copy of the code from the Chinese for some fee. Then they're going to go in and...
Okay, I'm going to preempt Kevin O'Leary. I want you to hear toward the... I'm just going to skip to the end. I want you to hear what President Trump himself said about this.
TikTok will remain globally interoperable. TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa.
Under the agreement, existing investors and a group of new U.S. backers would together own roughly 80% of the company.
Really great people, very prominent people, and they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country, so...
People, good people, they are also American patriots and... What do you think that means?
I think there's going to be a lot more censorship like on X, where they can just go, you're saying some hateful shit about Trump. You're not allowed to be on here anymore.
That's what my concern is. And I'm going to tell my viewers right now, if it does get that way, for anybody who enjoys watching the program, left or right, it doesn't matter. Follow us also on Clapper and Instagram, because you can go live on those platforms. And if this platform gets to the point where it starts looking like either you speak favorably of Trump or you're going to get censored, we will vacate this platform and do the lives on Instagram or Clapper and Facebook. So we do have 3 other apps where people can still call in and things like that. It's all free as well. But just letting you know, if it gets to what my caller is saying, because when Trump says that the people that are going to be over this are now all patriots and they love America, that screams conservative coming from Trump. Because they don't call folks on the left patriots. When he starts pointing out that they're patriots and they love America, that really makes it sound like he's talking about there's going to be conservatives in control of that app. And we know, as you're pointing out, that Trump is not very friendly to folks that are criticizing him. So if it goes down that road, we're going to basically sidestep to some other platform that is more free speech friendly. But do you see that possibly happening?
Oh, yeah. We're already trying to get 10% of oh shit, what was that? It was one of the computer chip people. We're already trying to buy controlling stake within electronic companies. This is just another advancement of that situation. So when they want to start forcing and shoving more control, they're going to have a lot easier way of doing that than a Chinese-owned app.
Yeah, see, people are posting that Intel is the company you're talking about. So you
Intel, yeah.
So you do
Someone
see.
is at the front door.
Oh, you do see somebody's to free speech, because a lot of folks on the right, MAGA, are not losing any rights under Trump, and that's a whole bunch of liberal fear mongering. You do see Trump as to the First Amendment.
If they're not praising Trump, he will get rid of every right you have until you do praise him.
That is that much of a dictator.
He has not proven himself to be a trustworthy person.
77 million, Sherbert. 77 million.
That I don't. You can keep saying that till the cows come home. I don't give a shit. He's still a terrible president. When you tear up an island of penguins and come up with a horse shit of, oh, the deficit. No, sometimes we buy more from other places than they buy from us. That's how a world economy works. You fucking businessman idiot that bankrupted casinos. If we wanted the country to run like a business, we wouldn't be America.
So what are you saying as president? You're only giving him a C+?
I'm giving an F.
Wow.
If I could give him a fucking Z, I would. What are you talking about? He's a Russian plant.
Jesus. Why would he be a Russian plant considering how bad Putin's talked to him and treated him?
I'm pretty sure they got back dirt on him, seeing how most of his investments, I'm to understand, were Russian-backed for the last 20 years.
I'm starting to kind of wonder that myself, because he's threatened Putin about a half dozen times now, carrying out none of his threats. I'm starting to wonder, is there some reason why he's not doing that? You know, like you said, maybe Putin has something on him or something. I'm wondering that myself. Like, how many times you got to threaten this man without carrying it out before everybody realizes your threats are empty?
Well, I've got a very simple answer for that. He's a baby back bitch.
All right, Sherbert. You obviously don't like the commander-in-chief. I appreciate you coming on. No fluffing, right?
Never again, Tim. You can't do it.
All right. Appreciate it, Sherbert. Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. You too, man. No, moving on with the program. Tap the screen. We should be able to reach 80 thou if you let your thumbs not be lazy. This is an uncensored program. Will G says even MAGA finds it weird that the FBI is not putting things together on the death of Charlie Kirk. Most people think it's a setup from behind or an act, and some type of act you're saying there, but let me ask you guys this, just simply put by way of yes or no in the comments, because I got a hell of a lot of MAGA that are watching as well. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks believe that there is more to the death of Charlie Kirk than just that 22-year-old assassin? Or do you believe he did that by himself? He as they state, was, tired of Trump's hate, and he pulled all that up by himself. How many of you folks believe there's more to it than just him? Type yes if you do, no if you don't. Because Cash Patel said we got him. We got our guy. Definitely more. Says tomorrow. I think it says tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah. A lot of you folks are, huh? Him and Israel. Samuel. So you think Israel might have something to do with Kirk? I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to play the video that I have of Charlie Kirk just out of concern. But I'm certain what Charlie Kirk said Israel would not like. Certain they would not like. He literally stated that Israel was making up an excuse. And obviously Charlie Kirk was no pro-Palestinian. He was not pro-Palestinian. Charlie Kirk said that he saw Israel as basically creating an excuse from October 7th. He said they have a mandate to wipe all the Palestinian people out and take their land. He said that. I don't know how long ago he said it. I have to check the date on the video, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. If I want to make it on a long form video, if I actually want to put it in a live, because, you know, there's a lot of censorship going on. A lot of stuff that I put on the screen here, I get advised by YouTube later on that they're either going to make my content for 18 plus or they're going to ban it. I do a lot of stuff that I show you folks here, believe it or not, as general as it seems, or as much you guys believe I'm fluffing, or whatever the case may be, a fucking libtard or an idiot, coonified liberal, whatever you want to call it, snowflake, whatever you want to call me. A lot of shit I show you guys here, I get advised by YouTube that it's not going to stay. So they got their algorithm, or whatever you want to call it, their AI, they can see what's on the monitor there, and they actually go by a lot of that shit. I showed you guys a picture yesterday of, or day before yesterday, of Tyler Robinson, the one that took out Charlie Kirk as a juvenile. He was a juvenile holding a rifle, and they actually banned my platform for a few days because of that. That's because I showed this, he was a kid. He couldn't have been no more than 10 years old holding a rifle. That was enough for them to take it down. Now Trump owns TikTok. You think that's going to stop under President Trump? If President Trump is let's say for instance, you put up pictures of Trump and Epstein hanging out together. And you think that picture will not be flagged in the new TikTok's AI or their algorithm? They won't be able to recognize that. That picture will probably start getting you either banned or what they call it shadow ban, where you post something and they really limit how many people see it. So I'm just going to tell you my own humble opinion on this. I really want to say I'm hoping I'm wrong. I am 100% hoping I'm wrong about this. But I don't feel the censorship is going to stop once TikTok falls in American hands, with Trump saying that people are going to be patriots that love America. Because we know what Trump thinks about people that he believes don't love America. And he believes the Democrats hate America. So I do believe a lot of statements from the Democrats will be censored, shadow banned, or something like that of some nature or another. What he did with Jimmy Kimmel, in my opinion, is probably the most telling that there may be a threat to free speech. Because I've been talking to MAGA for a while, and they're adamant Trump is not going to take away anybody's rights and his bullshit. But what he did to Jimmy Kimmel probably is, that whole Jimmy Kimmel thing is probably the worst example of somebody trying to censor free speech, to the point where you got Candace Owens and Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz and Paul Ryan and Joe Rogan, all of them speaking up. That spoke volumes. Before I take the next caller, though, speaking of that, because we're going to discuss it, we're going to go into detail in this right now.
Some breaking news coming in within the past half hour or so. We're hearing that President Trump is going to take on ABC again, it appears. He just put this on Truth Social. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now, because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and, to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings, the president said.
Now I'm going to just simply say, why the hell is he so focused on this? You got a whole damn country to run. Why are you so focused on what you refer to as a late night comedian that is not funny and nobody's watching? Why the hell are you all involved in this? Now, before we continue on, and I do see even Will G says Trump ain't shit, threatening to sue ABC for putting Jimmy Kimmel back on. Yeah, this is all of this I'm reading here. This is the newscaster just read. All of this came from President Trump himself earlier today. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. And then he continues on and says the White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Why the hell would Disney contact the White House to tell you that they canceled a late night show? Why the hell would that happen to begin with? Now, he continues on by saying something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want somebody back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Why the fuck do you care? If you're not watching Jimmy Kimmel, there's a whole, by the way, there's literally dozens, if not hundreds of programs you have to choose from during the 11:30 Eastern time slot. You don't have to watch it. Why is he so focused on this? Why the hell do you care that this guy is back on ABC, a network that the right often refers to as a liberal media anyway? Even if you get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, the right already believes that ABC is a left-leaning network. So why do you care about who's on that time of night on this one network? He continues on by saying he is yet another arm of the DNC, and to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I don't know what that means. But then he makes it clear that he is going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do last time last time I went after them, they gave me 16 million. Why the fuck is the president of the United States, suing networks over this stuff while president? Just want to point that out for folks who suggest he is not a threat to free speech. He should not be involved in this. Absolutely should not be involved in this at all. Because folks pointed out Roseanne and all what she went through. When Roseanne and Hank Williams Jr. and Whoopi Goldberg are all suspended by the same network for things that they did, the president didn't weigh in on it. None of the presidents at the time weighed in on any of that. Trump should not be involved in this. I'm just going to say, I'm trying to figure out why he is, and maybe somebody can let me know. Miss Mo Better, appreciate you holding. Exactly, turn the freaking channel. I can't believe he's all butthurt over Kimmel, but not South Park. South Park could be next. South Park absolutely could be next, but I don't understand that.
And they're going to eat his ass up, and he's giving them plenty of ammunition. And they're going to eat his ass up, too. He's going after South Park.
Well, I don't know, because what most likely he would do is go after Paramount. I mean, you can go after the network that carries them. Paramount
is a part of them anyway. They all in the same company. They're all ran by the same company. Well, so at this point, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. I think in South Park's case, it probably has significantly less people watching it than Jimmy Kimmel. That might be why he's not going after it as much.
No, a lot of people watch South Park. It's just that you can go to a lot of different places to watch South Park.
Yeah, South Park is wow, showing them in the bed, fucking Satan and stuff like that. That's really.
Hey, Will.
Yes.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. They have a lot of different avenues where they can still make their money. They're not worried about somebody firing them off there because they watch them on other channels anyway. So, it's a travesty that we're actually watching how this man behaves. I'm just going to say behavior because it's behavior on what he's doing on national stages. Like that UN speech, speech he gave at CK's alleged memorial, because that wasn't a memorial, that was a RNC. It's just disgusting. And I don't understand how anybody can call that leadership. Where do you get leadership out of anything he says? What leader you see say hates about anything? Yeah. How do you expect a country to become united when you got the leader speaking upon hate? Like I said, your body is only as good as your head. If your head is dead, the body ain't gonna be shit.
What about the notion, though, that Trump has a right to hate the Democrats because of all of the stuff they've thrown at him? A lot of folks believe that.
He has a right to. He was proven right. Well, most of the stuff they came out and went. So who is he really mad at? Is he mad at himself that he got caught with this shit? What is he really mad at? It's not that they was coming at him with false shit. He was convicted by his peers. He wasn't convicted by a politician.
Well, they don't believe that the conviction in a city like New York was based on a jury by their peers. They believe it was a left-leaning judge, left-leaning jury.
Of course they would believe that, Tim. Of course they would believe that. Of course, because you ever heard of trauma bonding? You know what trauma bonding?
I mean, I can tell what it means on it.
Above Stockholm syndrome. It's a step above Stockholm syndrome. And I'm from New York. Like, we don't fuck with Trump here. Us real New Yorkers, we don't fuck with him.
Well, shit, you the ones that help him rise to the top.
No, we didn't. No, he's been doing this shit for years. He's been doing this shit for years, so he just got caught.
Well,
that shit, it makes zero sense. Now, what is it called? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Tylenol.
yeah, he seemed the Tylenol thing. The Tylenol thing, I don't understand. Thank you for the TikTok captor, JPT. What I don't get though is the right is buying into the Tylenol thing. They actually believe there's validity to this autism thing.
Did I just not ask you? Do you know what trauma bonding is? They've been programmed for so long till they don't see any other perspective. They only see the perspective of their leader. That's what trauma bonding does. Then you start doing the same shit that he does. That's what they do when it comes Stockholm syndrome. They're protected. That's what MAGA used to be. But now that they're mush, they're no longer MAGA. They're mush. Now they're into trauma bonding.
Well, I want you to
regurgitating all the lies that he tells and all kinds of shit with his racist ass.
Now we covered mush. I'm gonna have you get the acronyms. Hang on a second though. Joe Shalom says just imagine Obama saying Fox News should be shut down. Take a minute to actually imagine that. Yeah, I mean the right would go ape shit if Obama was saying that Fox News.
They would have went bananas if Obama would have said that. Oh well, he has no business being there. Trump need to mind the business that actually pays him. Stay out of those people's business.
Here's one I haven't heard. Have you heard this? Dennis Calhoun says the GOP wants to put Charlie Kirk on U.S. currency coins. Can you imagine?
The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
Really?
Yeah, the devil's a whole lie. Listen, they might want to. They probably feel like they owe him that for taking them out.
Oh my God! What did you just?
They might feel they owe him that for taking them out because that's who did it. That kid. Why you think the kid that they got allegedly they got locked up now is not cooperating? He can't cooperate for something he don't know.
So there are folks who believe this. Then I mean, like I said, when I listened to what Charlie Kirk said on the video that I got, I mean, Charlie Kirk said a whole lot of things I disagree with. But that one just hit me some kind of way because it looked sincere what he was saying. I'm like, damn. I mean,
when he started talking about the e-files. He started talking about the e-files and G-side when it came to the Palestinians. Those are things that he was not supposed to talk about. We got you. We got you. We got you covered until you start talking about it.
You say when you say e-files, you're talking about the Epstein stuff too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that. Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
He started mentioning those things. That's now all of a sudden it's a threat. He's been how long has what's the name of his company is? How long has that thing been running? Now all of a sudden that he mentions those things and now he's unalived. Wow. Come on now, it's happening right.
So you're making it sound like President Trump. You know, you're making it almost sound like he's the mob boss who took out a guy and then he shows up at the funeral to hug the wife.
A petty sociopath that does not. He hates you. He said it out his own mouth. He hates anybody that doesn't agree with him, and that's period. There's no justification for that. There's no fluffing around it. There's not. He is a man of hate. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And he spoke that word.
A man of hate. Real quick in the comments, Will G says that it all started with the TV station caving in the beginning for the 60 minutes. Yeah, the 60-minute thing with the editing, yeah, they did cave on that. And the grapist comment bullshit. And real quick,
because he threatens people. He's positioned himself to where he has everybody threatened. When the Supreme Court backed him and given him immunity and all kinds of stuff, he just all gloves was off. There's no guardrails.
The threats are
there's no guardrails, and it made it a dangerous situation. And now, like Dinkow was saying, that these countries fear him. They don't really fear him. They said we don't really have to do anything to them because they're doing it to themselves. Do you think that you don't think those countries watching what's happening here in our country? Yeah. Look at that kid there. He's talking about the violent migrants. Everybody that they've arrested thus far that's been doing these mass pew-pewing have been white men.
Yeah. So then let me ask you, based on what you're saying, Do you think in 2028 we're going to have elections as normal?
I don't believe it's normal. I don't know which direction it's going in either. I really don't. But it's not going to be. It's not going to be normal because he doesn't know how to bow out gracefully.
What about what about 2026? What about 2026 the midterm? What about 2026 the midterm?
Oh, the midterm. This is why he's trying to have his boots on the ground, aka the military, in place so they can cause chaos. It's going to be chaotic because they're not going to win. They're not going to win the midterms. They're already losing them. So he wants to make sure the military's in place so they can start their shenanigans on the left and continue and moving forward. Going to say, you know what, we're going to cancel this. He's going to do some fuck shit because that's just who he is. And it's not something that he said. It's the stuff that he's proven to be done. We got to start paying attention to people's behaviors, not just the speech, their behaviors.
I see in the comments somebody saying, you know, you always bring out the worst of my callers. EBT, every black transaction. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but.
Matter of fact, tell them to give Obama their phone back. Shut the fuck up. Give Obama his shit back, bitch. Yeah, EBT that. EBT that shit. The fuck?
So.
Matter of fact, you can scratch and sniff while you're doing it.
Oh, my Lord. I don't know what else to say. So, I mean, are we in a position where America may be going in a direction that's unrecoverable, where we're forever changed?
It's going to be changed, and whoever for the next regime that it takes, they gonna have a lot of work to do. Just like when Obama took over, he had a lot of work to do when he got into office, having to go and let people know that, listen, this is who we are. You know what I'm saying? And doing a lot of apologizing. That's the first 2 years it took him. He had to go around apologizing to people. Listen, that's not what we meant. And it left our country in a good state. That's when we were really the powerhouse. Now they don't even fucking respect us. They don't respect. You know what those people were saying in the UN? They looking at it like this.
After the way he
see this dumb motherfucker up here in their own language.
well, after the way he went off and it essentially insulted everybody in the UN, I'm sure that there were some folks that don't necessarily favor him. But real quick in the comments, I see Honest Opinions Only says Tim wants to stay on TikTok so he can keep his favorite Democratic callers. No, I want to talk to everybody. You don't have to be Democrat.
Listen, we're not limited to anything. If Tim go to Facebook, we can go there too. Y'all sound dumb as fuck saying stupid shit like that. And that's that mush that the minds under Satan's hate. That's mush right there, aka MAGA. That's the shit right there. Those are the examples that I give. The comments right there. You're dumb as fuck. Shut up.
Mine's
and they talk about what you do, but yet they still here. Make it make sense.
Mine's under Satan's hate. They're Christians. They're evangelicals, Mr. Mobile.
And that's just what makes them demonic. Because, listen, like I said, the devil was once an angel too. When he left, he took a third of the angels with him. So guess what? That's the third of them angels that support this Antichrist that's in power right now.
See, King Fit in the comments said, I'm taking you. Mine's under Satan's hate. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's what MAGA is, mush. Mush. And like I said, they're not mad because they don't get mad because you're lying. They get mad because you tell the truth about their ass. They don't like exposure. That's what the devil don't like to be exposed. He does his best work hidden.
That's kind of what they were saying, Charlie Kirk. You know, you guys don't like Charlie Kirk because he's preaching the truth or he's exposing things. They were saying the same thing about Charlie Kirk.
No, Charlie Kirk, he went up there. He was just throwing out numbers, and sometimes the numbers were so far-fetched. You see that video going, that girl was eating his ass up. She cooked him to the point where she was saying, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. Then he started his ass off because he knew he was wrong as fuck about there being all black dorms and all black. She was like, no, that's not true. Then he just started naming names. She was like, no, that's not true.
Yeah, some of that stuff. Yeah, some of that stuff comes from just
you got the mushies that buy into that shit, and that's what makes it. That's what feeds their flame.
The mushies.
Boy, now.
All right, Miss Mobetta, no more mushies. I gotta move it on. Thank you, Mr. Walter. The mushies.
A bunch of mush. Get it, Elvis. I mean, James Brown.
Could be Elvis too. A little bit dark for Elvis, but could be
Elvis too.
James Brown. James Brown sounds a little bit better. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Hey, Mike.
All right, Mike has already been up, but thank you. All right, we're moving on with the program. By the way, real quick, I just wanted to respond to that caller earlier that said, when you want to keep your favorite Democrat callers. No, I'm open to anyone. I've had callers call in and are very critical of Democrats, very critical of liberals. I've heard people call in and talk about blacks being on welfare and things like that. I don't black ban or censor anybody. When we say we're for free speech, we are 100% for that. So you don't have to speak any sort of way to be on the program. If you got Facebook, or if you have TikTok, come on through. We'll bring you right up. If you have Facebook, we're on Tim Liberals with an S. Tim Liberals with an S. If you have Facebook, we're live on that right now. We can bring you up. If you have TikTok, we're on the Handsome Liberal. We'll bring you up. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube and just want to watch, feel free to state your case in the comments and we'll continue on. Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Putting Charlie Kirk on a coin is crazy, though. Dr. Oz has a competing interest of about $25 million in stocks to have Trump say that. I don't know what Dr. Oz's financial portfolio is like, but I do believe that there is some reason why Trump decided to go after Tylenol. Because Tylenol is not the only place you can get acetaminophen. Why not go on television and just simply say acetaminophen is bad? Why go after the brand? I mean, because there's all sorts of generic Tylenols you can buy at your local grocery store. There's a lot of places you can get acetaminophen. It ain't just Tylenol. He went more after Tylenol than he went after acetaminophen. So it does almost come across as if there is some kind of beef with Tylenol. See, Mr. Walter said because he cannot pronounce it. Yeah, he did a bad job. He definitely butchered acetaminophen. And real quick, Robert Kennedy actually got the name there, says autism is not a good thing. I like to see some kind of evidence, some kind of studies to show that where they concluded that taking Tylenol or acetaminophen rather while pregnant can lead to your child being autistic. I haven't seen that. I would like to see them, because the medical community disagrees with Trump and Kennedy. They disagree with him. So I wish they would provide the evidence. That's all it really takes. Provide the evidence. Mr. Walter, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Tim. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. So what do you think? This guy, the whole purpose of this live stream is we're questioning, why is he constantly saying he hates Democrats? Does he have blind hatred for Democrats?
I mean, I believe he does. He is the most thin-skinned, narcissistic person that I've ever witnessed. I mean, in public or in private, any which way you want to put it. The man is deeply, deeply emotionally flawed. And he cannot stand that the people that he's always tried to connect with, the elite, the Hollywood, that they reject him because he is a piece of shit human. I mean, let's just be honest. He's a terrible person. I personally believe he's guilty of things with Epstein. I mean, not that we have any proof, but I just, in my heart of hearts, believe that it's true. I think he's just a very, very bad man. And he doesn't really have any, good qualities other than, he's charming. He can turn it on. You've mentioned he looked at you, winked at you, something. I mean, he has thing that makes people like him. But if you spend 10 minutes analyzing this man's actions and his words, it's just obvious he's very, very damaged person.
Well, 77 million people are there, Mr. Walter. Real quick in the comments, though, Just Me asked a good question. It says, can you prove cancer is from cigarettes? When babies get cancer without without anyone around them smoking. So he's saying that, why are you questioning autism being related to Tylenol? You're not questioning whether, cigarettes can give you cancer. I think there are plenty of studies on tobacco and its relation to cancer. I actually think that there's plenty of proof for that in terms of statistical probability. I mean, there are people who smoke till they're 90 and they don't get cancer, but there is a statistical probability. I'd have to see what they're producing on autism. I'm not saying what Trump said yesterday is not true. I'm saying they haven't presented any evidence. I'll leave it at that. Go ahead there, Mr. Walter.
Well, I mean, let's travel back in time 10 years. You remember when people used to trust experts? People who studied for, decades, getting PhDs and doctorates. That's the people we should be listening to, not fucking RFK Jr., who, has no medical background whatsoever. This man is going to cause irreparable damage to people, to pregnant mothers. Just look at the evidence. I have, and there is no evidence of this acetaminophen situation. And I think it was in, I want to say Norway, but it could have been one of the other Scandinavian countries that they did a 20 year study on this. I mean, acetaminophen's been around for 40, 50 years.
I mean, Tylenol, I remember the Tylenol scare back in the 80s when I was a kid, when I think there was a woman was putting cyanide in Tylenol and a few people died.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back as far as I remember. And I don't, I don't remember autism being that prevalent when I was younger. I mean, I'm assuming it was, but the idea that Tylenol's connected to it, a lot of women don't.
It's not connected. It's one of those ridiculous correlation equals causation bullshit. People who don't know what they're talking about making a big wave. And it's just not true. But I want to just shift one thing to you because I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was really. I'd heard of him, but I didn't really know who he was. Okay. And when all this went down. And then I'm kind of left wing, so all I kept seeing is all these clips of him saying these ridiculously horrible things, and then I would hear, "Well, you're just not getting the context. You need to dive deeper into the context." Okay. Yeah. So the one thing I did see about one of the things he said, which was, the airline pilot, if he sees a black airline pilot, that he's not going to trust that they're qualified. And I saw an extended clip where he's basically making this point where, and of course this is on a college campus to a young, very young 18-year-old.
I did it real quick, just interrupt what you're saying. I did a long form video. If anybody had access to my YouTube page, the video was titled Charlie Kirk in Full Context. You'll see me on the thumbnail. I actually played that clip you're talking about with him debating the guy, it was a black guy, about the pilot thing. I did it in full context. Since everybody's saying you need to hear him in full context, I played the video and then we tackled what was said at what he said throughout that debate. But go ahead.
Well, I didn't know that, and I will definitely check out your video, and I'm glad you did that because I said, I was like, I would want to know because I have family that I consider decent people and not racist, and they're like, this guy was a good guy, whatever. So, like you probably deducted from that video, his reasoning was that the airlines were saying we're scrapping standards just for
people of color,
the diversity.
Yeah.
Which is not true. If you look into it, that is absolutely not true. Which is not surprising, but that's the answer to people who claim that this person was so. And I not really believe that this man knew this, but he was making a career and doing his thing, and I believe he was a fraud. I can't say that for 100%, but I saw him on Bill Maher where he had brought up a thing about transgender mice, and Bill Maher called him to the carpet about it and said, transgenic, it's transgenic. And
so Charlie Kirk actually talked about the transgender mice because it was transgender. Charlie Kirk is involved in that too?
Yeah, well, he brought it up on Bill Maher's little podcast, whatever. And you know, to give Bill Maher some credit, he was like, that's bullshit. And Trump should have people to tell him it's bullshit. And Charlie Kirk, you know, pretended that he didn't know it. And and as soon as he was called on it, he said, well, okay, I stand corrected. But I guarantee you this man knew these things, but he was building a career on all this stuff. Just like Candace Owens and you know.
So in other words, he was doing what some might refer to as right-wing fluffing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Perfect.
Oh my God.
That's all I wanted to say about it, man. And you know, I encourage people to go out there and I'll look for your long form videos. I didn't know you had that.
Yeah. On the page, I do a lot of YouTube shorts. I mean, all of these live streams, they go to my Handsome Liberal YouTube page, but also on that page, I do YouTube shorts and I do long form videos. And yeah, the one, because I did one today on Jimmy Kimmel, but that one is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I follow you on there, but YouTube, it's harder to like find the people you follow for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know, my long form videos don't get as many views. I don't know if there's something with the algorithm, because my shorts and my lives, certainly my lives, I do some lives where a couple 100,000 people come through. So I don't know why the long form videos do that. It's something about, maybe I'm not putting the hashtags in or whatever, but it is titled Charlie Kirk in Full Context. And you'll see on the thumbnail, it's a picture of me and Charlie Kirk is in the inset and it says in full context. It's about 10, 15 minutes long because Charlie Kirk's debate is about 5 or 6 minutes of it. And we break it, I take it apart, each piece, and ask folks questions. Some people are going to be on this side and that side. And we just we just run it through with regular questions in regards to the video. So let me know what you think. I'll go ahead and move it on, Mr. Walter. Thanks for coming through.
All right.
Appreciate it. And I will say this real quick in regards to Charlie Kirk, because there are still folks asking that same question over and over again. What did the guy say that's so bad or bigoted or racist or whatever the case may be? You've heard me likely play some of those clips.
Should be around your neighborhood. Why do blacks have a broken family? White person were to come up and say, Black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time and needs to actually have enough. Why would you? Because it's true. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous. There was less break-ins. Black America is worse than it has been in the last 80 years. What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial, and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because affirmative action? Things got worse since the Civil Rights Act. More violent, less fathers around, poorer.
Why are we making racist jokes?
Well, look, it's a comedian that was put up on stage. Yeah, what do you expect? But I mean, man, can you take a joke?
You should be kissing the ground with gratitude, because you're right. You are not in Africa, and you should be thankful you're not in Africa. Certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. It's now become a racial complaining day. BLM, and remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder. America is poorer today than before we tried to start to help. Black women married the government and divorced the men that they were once with.
Happy Juneteenth. It should not be a federal holiday.
Half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crime.
Okay, there's plenty of this. Let me just say this real quick before we move on, because we're not really here to talk about Charlie Kirk, but I still have a heap of notes that I keep on that just in case that topic comes up, because the whole pushback is you can't go 2-second sound bites. You got to actually hear the full debate. You're just taking it out of context and things like that. I'll just say this. That would be a better argument to make if we were only talking about one thing. Like, let's say the black pilot thing. When I see a black pilot, I think, boy, I hope he's qualified. Well, you're taking it out of context. He actually meant this. That is something we could tackle if he had not made so many controversial statements. The idea that all of his statements are taken out of context, just the statistical probability of that starts to borderline on being somewhat ridiculous. And why do I say that? because some of his statements, you don't. I mean, there's not much more you're going to hear. I mean, if I tell you go outside right now, the sky is green. Well, he didn't really mean green. You got to take him in full cut. It's a pretty clear cut statement. Some of his stuff he said is like Black Lives Matter equals burn, loot, and murder. You either agree with that or you don't. You either agree with that or you don't. Hearing 5 minutes of Charlie Kirk, 10 minutes of Charlie Kirk explain to you why BLM equals burn, loot, and murder is not going to change your mind. You either agree with that or you don't. And that applies to a lot of Charlie Kirk statements, in my opinion, because I spent all last week listening to about 20 hours of Charlie Kirk. And I'll just tell you from my personal opinion, not one of his sound bites, those 2-second sound bites, not one of them sound bites that I heard after listening to him in detail led me to say, okay, yeah, that makes more sense now. The sound bites he's giving, they cover enough that you can make your decision. I mean, Juneteenth should not be a federal holiday. That's what he said. Do you need to hear him give you 10 minutes of an explanation for why he believes that? You either believe Juneteenth should be a federal holiday or you don't. Hearing that in full context ain't gonna change your mind. And that mindset right there applies to many of his statements. Martin Luther King was an awful man. You either believe that or you don't. He's not going to explain 10, 20 minutes of that into you, and you're going to walk away thinking, yeah, he is awful. No, you either believe it now or you don't. So many of his sound bites, I'm going to submit to you, they're not going to be cleared up by hearing Charlie Kirk, quote unquote, in full context. And I say that because I've talked to a whole lot of people, and not one person as I talked to yet has told me, since I heard him, I actually now understand. I haven't talked to one person yet that feels that way. Everybody who liked Charlie Kirk, like him after hearing him in full context. The people who do not like him or do not favor what he had to say, the full context did not change their mind whatsoever. So I don't think that, black women married the government and divorced the women, the men they were with. You either believe that or you don't. So to me, you need to hear Charlie Kirk in full context is, I'm just going to say, I believe it's just a shield to try to defend Charlie Kirk, because if you thought people needed to hear him in full context, you would see a whole lot of people on the right posting videos saying, see, that shows you this or that. BLM equals burn, loot, and murder. There's no full context that's going to make you believe that. If you believe BLM is fighting a righteous cause, Charlie Kirk saying it equals burn, loot, and murder ain't going to change your mind. And there might be one or two quotes or sound bites from Charlie Kirk that maybe he explained in detail and it clears it up. But the overwhelming majority of his quotes, such as, of course we pander to blacks, they're on every TV commercial. Is that the way it is in your area? Every single television commercial features black people? That's either true or not. You don't need to hear more of that to make that make sense. Things got worse since the Civil Rights Act. More violence, less fathers around. Blacks are poor. You either believe that or you don't. Now, I'm going to tell you real quick in regards to that comment. Things got worse since the Civil Rights Act, and blacks are more violent and less fathers are around. Before the Civil Rights Act, whites were significantly more violent than they are now because they didn't have any accountability. So if you want to go back before the Civil Rights Act, understand no matter what focus you put on the black community, the white community was significantly more dangerous to the black community before the Civil Rights Act. There was no accountability for what they did. So when he says that things got worse since the Civil Rights Act, after the Civil Rights Act, because blacks got more violent, he's going to exclude the fact that they were being victimized a lot more before the Civil Rights Act. He says, if I'm dealing with someone in customer service who is a moronic black woman, I wonder if she's there because of her excellence or because of affirmative action. Do you need him to explain that? That's pretty fucking clear. Do you need to hear more of that in context? So I don't see it. He says, when blacks in America did not have the same rights they have today, they were less murderous. There were less break-ins. Once again, as I told you, but yeah, white people were victimizing the hell out of them back then. So It is what it is. I'm going to move the program on, but hearing Charlie Kirk in greater context is not going to clear up any of the stuff he said. You're going to still feel the same way you do now. You're either going to like him or you're not. Evil demands sacrifices, and poor Charlie had a fair chance before conservatism sunk its claws in him. Well, Charlie Kirk was pretty conservative from very early on. He was hanging around. I mean, he climbed the ranks fast. I don't like many things he says, but in general, I like him a bit more than I first thought. All right, well, fair enough. There's nothing wrong with liking Charlie Kirk, but what I don't like is people trying to say that you do not have the right to have your own opinion of Charlie Kirk unless you agree with them. If you think he's racist, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. No, you might think he's favorable. They may not. Everybody has their right to have their own description of it. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with King Finn, one of my subscribers there. Good evening, King. His whole deal was to cause controversy, and he was doing a good job at that. King Finn, good evening.
All right, so before you say anything, I just want to point this out to you, all right? Check me out. Let me go down the list real quick,
Oh,
right?
shit, okay.
Okay, let me start here. Kung Flu, something Trump said. Let's go here. Made a joke about the Trail of Tears.
Did he really? Ooh.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh.
Stereotyping black reporters, telling them they were stupid. I mean, we can go on and on. But the reason I said that is because earlier in the live, you said some shit like, oh, well, if you just say that the truth that Trump is a fucking racist, that you were going to challenge that. So before I say it, I just wanted to go ahead and give you the proven facts.
In regards to your comment that he said black reporters are stupid, he calls all reporters that lean left stupid. I mean, CNN, everybody from Anderson Cooper on down, he's insulted, and they're all white. I mean, any reporter that don't agree with his agenda, they're stupid.
It doesn't even matter. Don't fluff with me. You know what I'm saying. However, we're just going to go past the part about that and go to the I hate Democrats. The reason why it's okay for him to say that is because that's exactly what Mush wants to say. MAGA, the mushy motherfucking party, wants to say that. That's what they want to say. They're okay with that. Like they went to that Klan rally, that huge-ass Klan rally in Arizona and left all that trash out there for people in Arizona to pick up. You nasty son of a bitches. All of y'all.
Are you referring to Charlie Kirk's memorial as a Klan rally?
Yes, because that's what it was. It was a Klan rally.
That's strong language for a memorial.
Okay, well, what was the strong language he said on stage?
His wife said.
Say he hated all Democrats?
His wife said, "I forgive them," though.
You know why that is, right? You gotta be smart enough to see through that shit, right?
Explain.
You know why? Because she's gonna be the next person that they put up for office. She's the war term. She's the sweet, poor, helpless woman who lived through such an atrocity, and MAGA is gonna eat that up because they are a bunch of dumb motherfuckers. It's just like he said Tylenol caused autism. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? How can you say some of the stupidest shit? And everybody knows that shit is stupid. Autism was around way longer than the motherfucking Tylenol was. And then the motherfucker couldn't even say the fucking word. Acetaminophen. What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? He can't even say the word. He's drooling. You motherfuckers gotta... You people... Fucking MAGA, I'm not even gonna say you people because I know you lean both ways. MAGA has the nerve to talk about having a Joe Biden moment because how he kind of flailed through that debate. But this motherfucker can't even say acetaminophen.
Okay, now this is he definitely botched the pronunciation, but here's a strong pushback from Freeborn James. He says, does this coward have the courage of his convictions to make the accusation publicly and put his reputation in future earnings on the line? Could you say what you're saying now publicly?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want me to go public. I'm finna start a live. I just got my new machine. And I'm finna start a live. I hope you come in there and say that shit to me, you little bitch. Come say it to me. I'm gonna be on YouTube too, bitch. So I can give you a chance to say it, bitch. Say it to me, motherfucker. Because I will. I don't give a fuck. Trump is a motherfucking racist. And if you follow behind that fat orange piece of shit, so are you. That's the fucking problem with this motherfucking country. You motherfuckers are scared to be racist. He made y'all empowered to be racist again because you nasty little piece of shit was scared behind us. And you motherfuckers better be glad that all we looking for is fucking equality. Because if we was trying to do the same fucked up shit y'all did to us for 40 years, you motherfuckers will lose your mind. Fuck you. I hope you fucking take a... Okay.
I wasn't expecting all that. But wait a minute. What about the fact that there's a hell of a lot of black people that voted for Trump?
You mean Bojangles? You mean Mantan? Them same motherfuckers who tap dancing to his tune right now, Tim Scott? Fuck them too. Let their ass go with the Space Force out to the moon so they can get sucked up by the aliens, motherfucker.
You do realize there are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump that have nothing to do with racism, right? Damn, somebody really liked that comment.
Let's see. Let's see. What reason would that be?
Maybe you thought he was going to... Listen, Trump, let me just say it this way. And I absolutely believe there were legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, even if you were black. Because Trump promised a lot of really good shit. He was going to end the war in 24 hours. People are tired of seeing folks die. People wanted the price of groceries to be more affordable. Trump promised to bring that shit down. I mean, huh?
Did he stop the wars? Did the price of groceries come down? Did he do anything other than fucking golf in the last 9 months? Because the only thing I've seen that fat orange glob of shit do is golf, fucking take aim at freedom of speech, try to take women's productive rights away, mash on the motherfucking trans community, and do all types of other fucked up shit. Because I ain't seen him do nothing. What the fuck else is he doing?
He also promised to secure the border. He's done a great job at that.
Wow. Okay. So you want to go with the security border shit again? You really want to do this right
A
now?
hell of a lot of black people living in cities like Chicago and shit. We're tired of seeing immigrants everywhere. Yeah, they wanted him to secure the border. Biden was doing a poor job at it.
You know what? If that's what you want to say, but you do realize immigration has been a fucked up policy since we began in this country. All y'all talking about, the illegals. Y'all illegal too. You motherfuckers ain't really from this motherfucking country. Black people were brought on motherfucking slave ships. White people chose to come over here, and y'all stole the fucking land from the Native Americans. Who the fuck is illegal? Who is illegal today? Please tell me.
I'm just simply saying Trump promised to get the border under control, make it so that we knew who the hell was coming in this country, so that you didn't have unvetted folks coming in here and you didn't know who was in here, and to get things under control. He has successfully done that. Do you give him credit for securing the border and getting immigration under control?
No, I don't, because he's talking about Mexico sending their best and brightest, but I don't see nothing but white men shooting up schools. I don't see no Mexicans committing no crimes like that. Was Jeffrey Dahmer Mexican?
No, he was not.
Was Ed Bundy Mexican? Was Jim Jones Mexican?
No.
All of them dudes were white, right? What about Tyler Robinson? Was he Mexican?
No.
You know, the
one that took out Charlie Kirk. In fact, the one that was involved in the ICE. This is a guy on my monitor here. This is the guy that was involved in what happened today with ICE. He took out 2 people, then himself.
Little white dude.
So
fat little white dude. Is he Mexican? No.
Maybe he's got some. Maybe he's part Mexican. His name is Joshua.
Fuck out of here. It sounds like the common denominator in all of this fucked up shit that's happening is what? White people. You keep pushing the blame game. You keep moving the motherfucking goalposts. But all in all, the orange shit-tater has done nothing. He has done nothing. He even went to New York in a UN meeting and made a fucking fool of himself. Are you kidding me? Do you know them people that are laughing at you? While Germany and the Netherlands are spinning commercials redoing the fucking Disney shit. It's unbelievable that Germany is trolling America. Germany.
They are redoing commercials about Disney. How so? What do you mean?
You don't remember? You obviously ain't been looking at the shit that I showed you. I sent you a TikTok, a message showing the cartoons that Germany remade with Trump, with the characters doing things that Trump said he did.
Wow. No, I haven't seen that.
Belle's dad told her, "Oh, you were so beautiful. If you weren't my daughter, I'd date you."
Oh, yeah, I am aware of Trump.
Coco, wait, and I found this fucking hilarious. They redid Coco, and instead of Coco, they said, "We don't talk about Jeffrey."
Speaking of crazy shit like that, have you seen? There are rumors floating around. Now, I don't see any validity to this, so I'm not going to join the conspiracy on this. But there are rumors floating around that Charlie Kirk's wife was involved in some sort of child trafficking deal in Romania. Have you heard anything about this?
I haven't heard anything about it, but you know what? I pray to God that wouldn't happen. Seeing the fact that you had some atrocious shit happen to her and her kids.
It's been all over the internet. That, she apparently was in some beauty pageant at the age of 17. I see a lot of folks in the comments are saying, yeah, she was in some beauty pageant at the age of 17, and there is, I believe, some affiliation to Trump with that. And folks, and she started being able to produce girls. And a lot of the girls that she produced have came up missing. And people are questioning, how could you be able to produce all of these girls at the age of 17? And she had some organization that she was over that was producing girls, I guess, to older men. And a lot of the girls are missing. And they're claiming that the country of Romania kicked her and her organization out of that country. I don't know if any of this is valid. I haven't seen any proof of any of this, but I have heard it.
Wait, who does that sound like? Doesn't that sound a lot like somebody else that we know?
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right, doesn't it? That sounds a lot like Ghislaine Maxwell, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
A lot of weird shit going on with that, ain't it? Yeah, but that's who 77 million of the people in this country voted for. Yeah, so don't ask me what we can do to fix this country. Get rid of shit-tater first. Because we're really tired of being asked that question. I'm sorry, white people, I can't help you. I'm sorry, mushy MAGA, I can't help you. You have to get rid of the pile of shit that's in the White House first. Because that's what needs to happen. Maybe if you stop doing such racist things to people, they won't believe you're racist. Maybe if you stop, trying to control women's bodies, they won't think you're fucking idiots. Maybe if you, I don't know, stop trying to control freedom of speech, which was supposed to be the First Amendment in this country, which obviously we're all supposed to have, maybe we won't think that you're trying to be a dictator.
Well, you're pissing off somebody. Robert Kennedy says, I hate this punk caller. So you got to detract
it. I don't give a fuck. I hope you jump off a short pier, bitch. Bye. What the fuck is you talking about? Take a long walk up a short pier, bitch. I'll let you know.
Oh my God. All right, King. I got Jesus. I gotta move it on, man. No short piers for tonight. No short piers. King Finn, thanks for coming through.
Hashtag stop the fluffing.
There is no fluffing here. This is a no fluffing zone. There's no fluffing here.
Hashtag stop the fluffing.
You sound worse than gangster grandma. Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen and get us on up to, wow, some of you folks have been showing the program some love. Thank you very much indeed. Tap the screen, get us on up to 125. We can certainly make that happen with the amount of participation here today. It helps out the algorithm. I get a lot of folks. Let me just say something real quick. When I say we are MAGA friendly and MAGA are my preferred guests, I am going to make it clear to you folks. I do mean that. I know most of my callers are left-leaning callers. Nothing I can do about that. The people that come up on the program, they hear it and they come up on their own. I can't make only left come up or make right, because I would like to talk to a hell of a lot more MAGA. But listen, right now Trump is president, so he's going to get criticized a hell of a lot more than anybody on the left. And a lot of MAGA don't like to hear that. So I don't get many MAGA callers because MAGA don't like hearing anything critical of President Trump. Just like when I was heavy on Biden's economy and criticizing him during his term, I had more MAGA viewers than liberals. It's just the way it is. So right now, Trump is president. I'm not going to go around attacking Nancy Pelosi and Biden right now. They're irrelevant. So it's just what it is. But and I see in the comments, Ms. Mobetta says he shouldn't be president. 77 million people would disagree with you. Trump is president. Trump's so racist that he wants to stop the violence in Chicago, saving lives. How bad of him? So what you're saying Michigan made is that, you know, the fact that Trump is trying to stop violence in Chicago, that shows that there's no way he would be, why would a racist guy want to stop violence in Chicago? While your point is not, it doesn't fall on deaf ears. I don't think that, and I'm gonna push back on you by saying this. I don't think what Trump is doing is being done with the goal to rescue Chicago. I think it's being done with the goal to ridicule Chicago. There's a lot more cities in America that have a higher propensity of violence than Chicago. Chicago is, I don't even know if Chicago's in the top 10 in terms of most violent cities, murder per capita. Why not start out with number one? Why skip to Chicago? I actually believe it's now, that's not to say if he does what he's talking about doing, it could bring the crime down in Chicago. It could at least temporarily save some black people's lives. Nothing wrong with doing that. But I don't believe what Trump is doing is being done specifically to save black lives and make Chicago a better city. I think it's being done to show the Democratic politicians of Chicago, you ain't in control of shit. I can come in your area and do whatever the hell I want anytime I want to do it. That's what I believe it's more about. So if he comes to Chicago and throws his weight around and you know, bullies and pushes around all the Democratic politicians and happen to also lower crime while doing it, so be it. But I think the goal is more to push around the Democratic politicians than it is to lower crime in Chicago. Because if your goal was to lower crime, you would go to the most violent places first. You wouldn't start at Chicago. And then he was talking about going to Baltimore next. Why not start in the most violent cities like Memphis? Now, due to all the pushback, he has indicated he's going to go to Memphis. Memphis should have been number one from day one. It should have been number one from the start. You shouldn't be at Chicago. Fix the worst cities and then go down the list. Why are you starting with Chicago? That didn't look right to begin with. Some of this stuff never looked right, in my opinion. So it is what it is. How does one go down on the mermaid? I don't know. I'll leave that. He doesn't care. It's performance rage. I actually believe it's more of that. Sherry, I tend to agree. It's more of that. It's more of just showing Democrats you ain't in control of shit. Just like what happened in California when he sent in the National Guard and then the Marines in regards to claiming that there was this massive riot going on in California. And it was only a few blocks. I mean, just, you know, throwing your weight around. Fuck you, I can do what I want. I think it's more of that than actually trying to reduce crime. Please, people can't walk the streets. That's not true, Diane. That is not true. That Chicago is so bad, people can't walk the streets. There's a whole lot of cities in America that people can't walk the streets without feeling, shit, be honest with you, there are places where you can't go to school because the children aren't coming home. I don't understand. Here's one thing I don't understand. You got Republicans all over the country favoring President Trump, sending in the National Guard to bring down crime in Chicago. People who have never been to Chicago, have no intentions of ever going to Chicago, may have went to Chicago years ago, have no affiliation with it. You got folks on the right that are eager to send in the military to bring down crime in Chicago, yet, within a few miles of virtually all of our homes, all of us, everybody watching, no matter where you live at, within a few miles of where you are right now is a school that regularly practices active shooter drills. Wouldn't that be something more that you should focus on than crime in a city that most people are not going to or not dealing with? Wouldn't it make more sense to focus on that? I just want to point that out. If you're going to do something that's going to save lives, why not focus on that? That's something that all of us are dealing with. Every school damn near in the country at this point is practicing active shooter drills. Why not deal with that? As opposed to, you know, lowering crime in Chicago that some Republican in Cheyenne, Wyoming won't benefit from at all. That's what it seems to me. It just seems like you're picking and choosing what you want to fuck with. Anyway, looking in the comments, what happens when the National Guard leaves these areas? Crime goes back up. It doesn't make sense unless the occupied areas permanently. And that's true also, too, is that Fact is, crime happens for a reason. There is a reason why areas become high crime. And if you don't do anything to address the reasons why crime has happened, simply sending in a bunch of badges of law enforcement is only going to be a temporary fix. The minute you withdraw them, everything's going to come right back. Kind of like the war on drugs. The war on drugs is almost the exact same thing, where you had a whole bunch of people hooked on drugs. People get hooked on drugs for a reason. If you don't address the reason why people are getting hooked on narcotics and you just send in a bunch of, badges and impose stricter punishments, you're not addressing the true cause of why people are getting hooked. And as you may have noted, during the war on drugs, nobody had a hard time getting high. It didn't fix anything. No one looks back at the war on drugs and says, that was a success. Folks being put in prison, doing life sentences and all of that shit. Nobody looks at the war on drugs and says that was successful. It didn't lower the amount of drugs in this country, didn't even lower the amount of drug users in this country. Just locked up a bunch of people, ruined a bunch of people's lives, and people finally realized this is getting us nowhere, not to mention how much money it costs to house all of those people in correctional facilities that was not doing a damn thing to correct anybody at all. So that's what I think Chicago would be like. You're going to send in the National Guard. In D.C., they're paying $1 million per day for the National Guard to be in D.C. Chicago is significantly larger geographically than D.C., so you're going to need a lot more camouflage in Chicago than in D.C. So it's going to be a few $1 million a day likely. And as I said, once they leave, it's coming right back. Anyway, looking into the comments, yes, but if they were locked up, they weren't doing drugs. Bullshit. The handsome conservative bullshit. You're saying yes, but if the drug users were locked up, they weren't doing drugs. Do you realize there's a huge black market of drugs inside of our penal facilities? People are getting high while incarcerated. You're not stopping people from getting high while they're in. People in the prison system, plenty of folks are still getting high. They're either able to make moonshine or you got guards bringing in everything from marijuana on up. They're getting high while they're in there as well. So when you release them, you're just putting an addict back on the street. You ain't did shit for this person, but warehouse. You just literally took an addict off the corner, put him in prison, and then put him back on the corner again. You didn't address why they're getting high. You didn't give them any significant rehab. You didn't give them a foot up or anything. They're going to come back to jail in a few weeks. You ain't done shit for them. And that's what happened. It just became a revolving door at the taxpayer's expense. Jail crooked guards. You try to do that. Too much money to be made, though. Because they're paying significantly more while incarcerated for the same drugs that they're paying on the street. Anything you outlaw, there is a black market is created and the price for it skyrockets. Because a lot of our penal facilities have banned cigarettes. You can't smoke cigarettes. They claim because we're giving you health care, smoking cigarettes will make the health care costs go up. So we don't think we should allow you to smoke because it's bad for your health. Well, you have a huge black market for cigarettes. And now people are paying several bucks per cigarette. But they're still smoking. You're not stopping people from smoking. And not only are they still smoking, because you're not allowing them to do something that sometimes calms people down, they become more hyped and more likely to be violent. When you start taking away recreational activities, they replace it with some other shit. The same thing that applies on the street. You want to lower crime? A lot of these children that folks say, if a child don't have nothing to do, they get in trouble. Maybe build a rec center, basketball course, whatever the hell you got to do to help them burn that energy off. They did the same thing in prison. They banned the weights, banned cigarettes. Well, then it gets more violent. It's the same shit on the street. You don't give them nothing to do. They start finding things to do that are not necessarily legal. Anyway, looking in the comments, I don't like all of our generals and sergeants and majors, but I follow orders as long as they were moral and ethical, right? Hopefully. I'll tell you something. Go to the next caller, but I will tell you something. Following orders as long as they're moral and ethical. I think that there may come a day when what Trump is doing off the coast of Venezuela gets questioned on whether it's moral and ethical. We're actually killing people and telling folks, telling American people, telling the world that those boats are filled with drug dealers carrying drugs. We're not proving any of that. there could come a day when maybe folks who are operating on behalf of the military or, you know, Department of Defense or something like that, where they're being held accountable for that. You're killing people in international waters. You're killing people in international waters without proving that they're doing anything wrong, hundreds of miles from the U.S. mainland, claiming that these little small boats are somehow going to make journeys that are hundreds of miles long to bring drugs to this country. We don't actually have to do that. We can stop that, capture the person, bring them to justice. Let me go back to the box. I do believe there could come a time where people are being held accountable for doing that. Body bags. Good evening, welcome to the program. They are chilling in prison. I guess if you know, you know. Chilling? I don't know about chilling. These people who try to legislate ethics and morality are the most moral, bankrupt people. There is some of that. Bobby Bags, if it brings them up. We are bullying Maduro, the president of Venezuela. We're bullying everybody at this point. I mean, pretty much everybody is getting bullied. My guess is Zelensky of Ukraine is getting bullied. Him and Trump are now starting to be a little bit more buddy-buddy. I don't know if Zelensky promised him, we'll give you all the rare earth minerals you need if you just start helping us back out like Biden was. But some way, somehow, Trump and Zelensky are starting to be friendly again. Trump wasted a whole lot of time on that shit. Remember when Kamala Harris, I'll go to the next caller, but my last one dropped. But remember when Kamala Harris, during the debate with President Trump, told him that Putin was going to eat his lunch? How can you say that's not true at this point? How can anyone say that Kamala Harris was not right about Trump on Putin? Putin has embarrassed him. If you can look at President Obama back in 2012, drawing a red line in the sand, telling the Syrians that if they don't continue using biological weapons on their own people, we're going to do something about it. And then they continued doing it and Obama did not follow through. People were saying that shows Obama was a weak leader for not following through on this threat. Trump though made about a half dozen threats against Putin and has not followed through on any of them. How does he look any better than Obama, who didn't follow through on one threat? Putin has embarrassed him. Putin has proved on a world stage, because Trump has made some of those threats internationally. Everybody knows that Trump is threatening Putin when he says that. Everybody get access to the media worldwide. So they all know that Trump is threatening Putin, demanding Putin does something, and Putin is not listening and doing whatever the hell he wants anyway. Came over to America, shook the man's hand, was applauding, all of that. Kind of like the Last Dragon, kissed his Converse and every damn thing. You just looked horrible. I don't know how, for some of you guys who might get the Last Dragon movie reference, but yeah, you kissed his Converse and everything. Looked horrible. Applauding the guy, putting red carpet out, giving the guy a flyover, and he goes back home and don't do shit you told him to do. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Idiot black judge wants the death penalty over $20 ticket yesterday in court. What does that say? Idiot black judge wants death penalty over, what are you talking about? Don't know what that is. But I'm just saying, Bruce Lee, yeah, you kissed this Converse and everything. Tell my show enough. But yeah, some of you caught it. I see that. Some of you folks in the comments caught it. But yeah, clapping, you sitting there applauding as Putin walk up. You got the red carpet laid out for the man. You're giving him a flyover. You're putting him in the presidential limo. And then he goes back and just doesn't do shit you asked him to do. That's embarrassing. And I'm going to tell you, for my MAGA audience, you know damn well that if Obama or Biden did all of that for Putin and Putin went home and done that, you would be criticizing the hell out of Obama or Biden. It made him look bad. It made him look really, really bad. That's what Kamala Harris said. Putin will eat your lunch. You're not going to be able to do what you think you're going to do with Putin. And it is proven that way. Too dumb for me, says Diane. Call it what you want. But like I said, if Biden or Obama had Putin play him like that, the right would be all over that. Biden was right all along. Yeah. And that's the thing about it. Biden was helping out the Ukraine because he was stating that Putin could not be trusted. Trump spent 8 months fighting the obvious before coming to the same conclusion as Joe Biden. You can't trust this guy. Think about how many people died. Think about how many people died in the last 8 months while Trump was trying to work with Putin, handicapping Zelensky by not giving them weapons, up to and including blaming Zelensky and the Ukrainians for starting a war. Think about how many people died while he was doing all of that. Accomplishing nothing. You're holding the Ukrainians back and allowing Russia to just bomb them with impunity. People, he literally, his approach to that, differing from Joe Biden for that length of time, he definitely got a lot of people killed in that. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. He definitely got a lot of Ukrainians killed by handicapping the Ukrainians and just letting the Russians bomb the shit out of them. Trump's speech sounded like an 8-year-old yesterday. No offense to 8-year-olds. Yikes. He was very critical of virtually every country on the world stage. I mean, but that's Trump. Isn't that what he said during the tariffs? He imposed Liberation Day by saying all of the countries were taking advantage of us. That's, he said, we don't need Canada, they need us. I mean, that's the way he's been. He's been like that. America can do all this shit by ourselves. We're number one. Fuck everybody else. You either get with us or we roll over you. I mean, he's always been that way. So, doesn't surprise me now. Oklahoma City lost 250 officers en masse because of the past government. All came back after Stint made it his duty to protect those officers. Oklahoma City? Oklahoma is a very red state. Why would Oklahoma lose 250 police officers? The liberals don't have a lot of control in Oklahoma at all. In fact, I've went over, because people always talk about how bad liberal cities are, and I often point out that out of the top 50 largest cities in America, only 9 of them are Republican. Most big cities in this country are liberal. And I always point out that you got to go pretty far down the list to come to the first largest city that's run by Republicans. That city is Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma is like the 15th largest city in America. It's a Republican city. So why would the police leave? That's got something to do with them. It ain't got shit to do with the liberals. Active duty is much different than a salary public office job. We both know that. True. Are you serious? Oklahoma went hippie, then they growing weed like Michigan and California now. Listen, I've never even tried marijuana in my life. I've never tried anything. Hell, I've never even tried alcohol, to be honest with you. But even though I've never tried marijuana, I actually think we're better off legalizing it than making it illegal. So you're saying that Oklahoma went hippie, they're growing weed like Michigan and California. You think we're doing better to keep that shit illegal, where people are killing each other over marijuana, drug deals and shit? People's lives are being ruined in prison over something that hasn't even been proved to be that harmful to you. I've never known anybody to overdose and die from marijuana use. If you're going to be favorable to having cigarettes, or better yet, tobacco and alcohol legal, marijuana is less harmful than both of those. I haven't seen any evidence to the contrary. To me, marijuana should be legal in all 50 states. As somebody who's never used it, if I had power, it would be legal in all 50 states. I just don't see any reason. And they started out treating that shit like it was heroin. They actually had it as a Schedule I drug, like it was heroin and shit. Just insane. So I don't see how complaining that Oklahoma is legalizing marijuana is a bad thing. I just don't. Canada left you in the dust. How so? Anyhow, folks, appreciate that coming to 70. Somebody, what does it say? Pregnant liberal women are popping Tylenol because Trump said it causes autism. It was a Harvard study. Liberals hate Trump more than they care about who wants. Wait a minute. Liberals hate Trump more than they care about what's good for their unborn baby, because they don't believe Trump. It's as simple as that. They don't believe what Trump is saying is accurate. Remember, Trump is the one that told us COVID would be gone by April when the pandemic first kicked off. People don't believe Trump. That's where the problem is. It ain't that liberal women, don't care about their babies, and they don't. Trump has lost the trust of a large portion of the American population. They've certainly given medical knowledge. And I'll tell you this, putting Bobby Kennedy over HHS definitely didn't help that. Certainly when you factor in Kennedy rose to prominence by firing so many folks with a medical background. He doesn't have one. So that's why they're not following it. They don't trust what he's saying. You guys had a problem with Dr. Fauci, somebody who has a lengthy experience. You trust Bobby Kennedy. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You trust Bobby Kennedy more than you trust Dr. Fauci. That doesn't make sense to me. Bobby Kennedy's background is suing pharmaceutical companies and shit. It's suing them. Dr. Fauci's background is actually working on viruses, the HIV virus and things like that, and finding ways to treat it. You trust Bobby Kennedy, but you don't trust Dr. Fauci. I don't understand that. I just do not understand it whatsoever. Ever had a conversation with someone you disagree with and you both shake hands? It's so refreshing. We do that all the time here, Yoruba said. We always do that here. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 141,000 likes. Fauci's job is killing people. I bet you once we deal with 3 years of Bobby Kennedy, I bet you there are going to be deaths tied to Bobby Kennedy. You say that Fauci's job was killing people. I bet you there are going to be people that lost their lives tied to Bobby Kennedy. I would tell you right off the bat, getting rid of the chickenpox vaccine and the, measles and shit. People, guaranteed 3 more years of Bobby Kennedy, there are going to be people that have died because of what he's telling people to do. COVID vaccine, not to mention what, the Trump administration has done with, withdrawing funds from USAID. They've already estimated tens of thousands of people have lost their lives from that because we were, sending doctors and Peace Corps type folks over to countries that didn't have medical, didn't have access to medical facilities and doctors and actually treating kids. They go into a village and any kid with an ailment can come up to the doctor. Maybe you got a cleft lip or you were born, with your, part of your skeleton outside of your body or some shit. They perform treatment for those folks. All of that stuff's been canceled. All of that stuff is being, so for certain what we did with USAID is leading to people dying. Guaranteed that is leading to people losing their lives. I do believe 3 more years of Trump. Bobby Kennedy, if you think Dr. Fauci is responsible for some deaths, Bobby Kennedy is absolutely going to be responsible for some people losing their lives. Anyhow, I do appreciate you folks tuning in. I do have to step away. Thank you for what you do. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. I need to get more MAGA calling in. I don't run for MAGA. We don't censor MAGA. We don't block free speech. You can be critical of the host. You know how we do it here. Nevertheless, we'll keep it going the way we're doing, status quo, until something changes. Monday through Friday, we're generally here. If you like this type of programming, give us a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the program if you're watching on Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, or Tim Liberals on Facebook. Until then, I'll see you folks tomorrow. Y'all take care. Thank you for your YouTube views as well. I'm going to step away now. Catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. And for